What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the stream. At long last, I put a little countdown on our pre-stream there, and the universe conspired against me today because having a little bit of a bug with TTS today, so I apologize to everyone who's been sitting in the chat for a while. Unfortunately, having an issue with loading models on a reset. We had to create our lobby 3 different times, which is a little bit awkward, and have the players go through their pre-games a couple different times, but we got there. We finally got there. yeah, chat. It's the RNG. The dice boxes are rigged today, chat. Anything you see in this game is not to be trusted. Someone's taking the opportunity to spawn in some new dice rollers so that they can win. Absolutely. Let's get some sound alerts in chat, everybody. Let's get some meat bolt guns going because we do have a bolt gun on bolt gun match today. 2 Armor of Contempt armies fighting. And I would be remiss, everybody, if I didn't welcome you to the first pod finals of Season 6, which is very exciting. We had an explosive end to Season 5, which ended with a very disappointing Salad taking down the finals game against Max GW's Necrons with Creations of Bile, and we have the architect of Creations of Bile himself. We could call him the Spider, but he's more commonly known as Doots. Because he likes playing both these factions, actually. He loves his Adepta Sororitas, and he loves his Chaos Space Marines. I think he loves his Chaos Space Marines more, but obviously Adepta Sororitas a little bit more powerful in the matchup right in the metagame currently. That said, Creations of Bile, not a terrible matchup for them. Versus over here on the other side of the table, BeefSupreme playing his Adepta Sororitas. We can talk about the list real quick here as the players go through their deployment setup. Let's get it done. Exclamation point lists in chat, everybody. If you want to take a look at the lists yourself, go ahead and look at BeefSupreme's Sororitas list here today. This is a Bloody Rose battalion detachment, so we are getting all of the supplement benefits. 1 unit of Crusaders and a Repentia Superior on our free Force Org slot area. We have Celestine and the Gemini Superior, as well as a Missionary and a Palatine, and we do have Morven Vol elsewhere in the list in a Supreme Command detachment. So both of the number 1 and number 2 characters in the Adepta Sororitas faction, Celestine and Morven Vol, taking to the field. Morven, obviously, being in that Supreme Command detachment, is the Warlord. She does have her Warlord trait, which is very cool. We also have a Missionary with Refrain of Blazing Piety, so we can drop that for 3 automatic damage against a Chaos unit. Going to be super useful in this game, mostly for to try to get around phase caps, and especially against Abaddon. But we don't have an Abaddon in this game, although, you know, he is good to knock out a Possessed if we need to, or a couple Heretic Astartes Marines. We have the Palatine in there with Word of the Emperor, so potential fight last, and ignore invulnerable saves if we need it. 3 units of 5 Battle Sisters, no frills there, mostly just going to be holding objectives with those ladies. 1 unit of Sacrosaunts, that's 5 Sacrosaunts, mostly to bodyguard the characters, I imagine. Be a little bit of a tough unit that can stay on objectives. 1 Dogmata, alongside a Hospitaller. 3 units of Sisters Repentia, 1 of 5, 2 of 8. 3 Zephyrim squads, 2 of 9, 1 of 4, going all in on those now cheaper Zephyrim. For their incredible ability to trade with enemy units, as well as 2 Retributor squads, 4 Multi-Meltas, and an Armorium Cherub in each of those. However, we don't have a transport for them, interestingly, so they are just going to be standing on the table. They do project a little bit of threat, although without the ability to pre-game move in a transport that Bloody Rose can offer those Retributor squads, they don't have the greatest amount of maneuverability. That said, it's probably still one of the most effective options you can include in Adepta Sororitas army, especially given the fact that, you know, if you give any opportunity, Morven Vol can soup up one of those units, and they can just go and blow something up, and you can feel pretty good about yourself. Selfish Hockey with the resub there. Sound alerts aren't turning on today. So many issues today. It's unfortunate, but I appreciate the resub. 3 months in a row. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone who's supporting the channel. Now moving on to Doots list. I'm sure people are excited to hear about Creations of Bile here. Now obviously the Creations of Bile kind of dramatically alters how this army has to be played against, and especially for Adepta Sororitas, which is an army that's almost entirely predicated on, you know, trading down points for more expensive enemy units. So you have your cheap units like your Sisters Repentia and your Zephyrim that just cost a couple points a model. They're not particularly survivable, but they're able to hit extremely hard, and with Miracle Dice they can confirm charges and get into where your opponent doesn't want them to, and then they can touch your opponent and blow them up. But Creations of Bile kind of reworks how Chaos Space Marines play, because it gives them the ability to fight on death army-wide. They just get to attack you if they haven't fought yet that phase, and you attack them first, which means that these Adepta Sororitas units at best are going to mutually annihilate with the Creations of Bile units. So they have to leverage their superior range fire in order to get those Retributor multi-meltas to bear, start dealing with some of these Creations of Bile units before they get to melee. But that said, Doots does have some heavy vehicles that he's going to try to get around that with. So we do have a Demon Prince with wings, Twisted Regeneration for the ability to come back to life, a Lord Discordant on Hellstalker with Flames of Spite and Uloko the Black, so the mass Mortal Wound wombo combo for that guy. He's going to do Mortal Wounds on 6s with all of his weapons, and Uloko the Black on what I imagine is going to be his big stick, giving Mortal Wounds in addition to normal damage, alongside full rerolls to wound. We also have a Master of Possession, 1 Cultist unit, and 2 units of Legionnaires. Now, Doots is a big fan of his Legionnaires, especially in Creations of Bile, where even if you kill them with an Alpha Strike, they can fight back and probably clip you out if you're not a particularly strong chaff unit. We also have 3 units of Chosen, all of them with Chaos Archons, Mike of Slaanesh. Good old Mike of Slaanesh over there, just chilling. The aspiring champion of the God of Obsession, Mike. That's going to give them +1 to hit, which is a pretty big deal, as well as always strikes first. So engaging into them across the breadth of the army is very difficult, because they can strike first, and then even if you kill them, they will strike anyway. So they basically fight regardless. What are we doing here? Oh, I think we're just pre-measuring our movement with this Battle Sister unit. But the nice thing about those Chosen is that they do hit on 2s. They have a lot of attacks, and they do get to Strength 6, which is an important breakpoint, especially in this matchup, between the Creations of Bile sub-faction abilities for +1 Strength and then the +1 Strength from their accursed weapons. And so being able to just yeet these guys out as little nuclear missiles and blow something up, and then if your opponent can't shoot them to death, then they have to charge them and they get to blow a second thing up. So for 145 points, you potentially get 2 enemy units dead, or you force them to use all their valuable ranged attacks shooting at 145 points of Chosen. Instead of, you ready? The 280 points of Possessed that's also in the list. Those guys have been upgraded to have the Black Rune of Damnation, so -1 to hit. Excuse me, -1 to wound. Not -1 to hit, it's -1 to wound. And they're going to be buffed by the Master of Possession, who does have Cursed Earth, so he can give them a 4+ invulnerable save and potentially heal them back to life with Pact of Flesh, which is pretty cool. I know one little combo that Doots likes to use with that Master of Possession is that he can use his Ritual Dagger to deal damage to the possessed unit in order to buff his spells. And we do have a Venom Crawler as well, rounding out the remainder of the fast attack slot there, to give him additional +1. So if he stabs the possessed unit twice, there's a pretty good chance he kills one of the possessed on the way. Then, as his second spell, he can cast Pact of Flesh to bring that possessed back. He can kill the model from the back of the unit, bring them up in front, give that individual model a pretty big bump in movement, essentially 6 or 7 inches of movement typically, but also just increase the threat range of the unit by 3 or 4 inches, which is pretty good, especially since they don't have the access to advance and charge that most of the core units in the army do. We then have a lot of heavy support, in fact, a Chaos Land Raider, which has been finding place in a lot of lists, just to give Chaos Space Marines a transport option so they can play a little bit more aggressively with their objective security infantry, which I know can be problematic for the army. So it looks like we have 1 Legionnaire unit and 1 Chosen unit inside the transport. So pretty reasonable threat. But also, just as this big idiot that can wander around the table and actually deal damage to your opponent's army, I'm a big proponent of taking ranged attacks even in armies that focus on melee, because it prevents your opponent from just basically playing in the sprinkler and doing whatever they want. So one thing that we could see here is we do have these Retributor squads placed very aggressively, and that will allow them to potentially get a shot on the Chaos Land Raider, but winning on 5s, they don't have an amazing gun at shooting the Land Raider. And if the Land Raider goes first, there's a non-zero chance it can peek a line of sight to one of them and potentially kill one of those Retributor units. Same thing goes for the Vindicator, which is going to be able to move into the ruins in the center and take a big Demolisher cannon shot into that middle. This makes you wish for the days of pie plates, right, chat? Just want to dump one big pie plate right in the middle of that. Disposable Hero with the resub, by the way. Thank you so much.
All right, yeah, let's do it.
A little sad our text speech isn't working.
I got 5.
I got it too.
Looks like we're rolling to go first, and Adepta Sororitas are getting it.
Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah.
So they are going to be able to hit this Chaos Land Raider potentially if they want to with those multi-meltas. But again, it is towing the terrain here. Although the Retributors will get minus to the hit for moving and shooting anyway. So they're going to be hitting on 4s, winning on 5s. They do have full rerolls, more of involved potentially. But it's the likelihood that knocks out a Chaos Land Raider, especially with 2+ save and Armor of Contempt, is pretty low. Which you don't normally expect, right? This previously, back in the day, you'd see a Land Raider on the table getting shot with a bunch of bounty meltas, and you're like, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss. Doots, it's one dead Land Raider. But now, it's actually pretty tanky today. How are we feeling about this game, chat? We did have prediction open. 82% for Doots. Hot damn. Although Sororitas support, more populous. Doots' supporters maybe a little bit more enfranchised here. A little bit more tokens to throw around. I see how it is. So it looks like we are putting vol rerolls on the forward unit of Retributors here. And let's see what we can do. I'm excited for this game, chat. I think this is going to be an interesting one. There's a lot of units that fight on death against each other. We have the Repent chat that can fight on death for 2 CP, and obviously the Creations of Bile army. And we saw this interaction take place in the Invitational, actually, between Slightly Disappointing Salad and Ski Lord Solar, who brought a ton of Bloody Rose sisters. And was unfortunately got run over by the Creations of Bile at the end of the day. We're in a third Ed tournament where a player killed about 2/3 of a Corn army with a single Vindicator shot. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh, blast templates, am I right? What a time. What an absolute time. Which is a crazy thing you did with a blast template back in the day. I think I definitely deviated like a heavy venom cannon shot onto a vehicle one time that annihilated. And I think it was inside a Tau army. It blew up like the entire Tau army. It was on a Devilfish, I think. What a strange time. I have a video coming out. I talk a little bit about old 40k editions. We talk about stratagems, but for the video, I actually grabbed a unit of I grabbed a copy of the 7th edition core rulebook to look through it, and man, was that it took me back. It was a path down memory lane. I never actually played 7th edition, but the mechanics were very similar to the previous editions before it. And basically nothing changed between 5th and 7th almost, and it was it was a dark time. So it looks like we're tracing our line of sight here to try to get those Retributors in on the Land Raider. I don't think much movement has to be done to get that shot. Just gotta peek that line there.
So one would be out.
Although Doots didn't have a great position to place it. He could have placed the Land Raider maybe a little bit farther up. Gotta get my Telestrator going. Could potentially place a little bit farther up here, but we have to remember that we do have the 9-inch exclusion zone in the center. So that would have restricted where the Chosen could go if the Land Raider tried to place out of line of sight. But I think Doots actually kind of wants to take this fight with the Retributors. He wants to force his opponent to play the Retributors really aggressively so he can kill them. Because what Doots recognizes is that his opponent has the benefit of having, you know, wildly superior ranged attacks. In only that Doots basically has 2 units with guns. I guess he has the Venom Crawler too. So it's a not... Yeah, it's an appreciable amount of shooting. There's a Vindicator, there's a Land Raider, there's a Venom Crawler, there's a Lord Discordant, which is 18 inches, I guess. But against a bunch of multi-meltas and Morvenn Vahl, obviously, who's a shooting powerhouse by herself, he doesn't really have the ability to sit back and just eat the shooting all game. He's going to lose too much. So he wants to take this fight, take those shots on his most survivable unit, and then hopefully that will give him the opportunity with the Vindicator and the Land Raider to kill those Retributors back. Now, downside here is that we actually have expanded Retributor squads. So this is probably the reason that we don't see a Rhino in this Sororitas list, is that these Retributor squads are actually 7 models. And that's because, especially with Miracle Dice and Moment of Grace available to BeefSupreme, he has the ability to keep that last model in the unit alive for a really long time. If he has a 1 in his Miracle Pool, he can auto-pass Morale. And if he has a 6, he can auto-pass Invulnerable Saves, or even a 5 against most shooting because of Armor of Contempt. And then, as long as one model in the unit's alive, that Hospitaller, who's chilling directly behind the Retributors. We're broadcasting the situation. The Hospitaller will be able to just resurrect the Meltagun, the multi-meltas into that unit, and continue to get shooting. Wondering why Battle Sisters are going to the middle? It seems to be giving up Long War for free. Yeah, it is a good question, chat. Long War requires you to take objectives from your opponent, but obviously we don't have Stranglehold anymore, so taking the middle objective is actually a little bit of a downside here. And I believe that our mission bonus objective for... We're on Death and Zeal today. It just requires us to hold objectives in No Man's Land, so I don't think there's a reason that we have to hold the middle objective currently. Although they might be bannering it in the hopes that Doots can't get objectives secured there that one next turn. But it is interesting that they are standing in line of sight. It seems a little aggressive. They got a Death Wish as Adepta Sororitas.
Alright, shooting.
Send it back to the players' mics here as we go through the shooting phase.
Rerolls into.
Alright, let's see it.
Yeah. 8 shots.
Yep.
Oh, excuse me. The objective is to... The bonus objective is to take an objective.
Start.
Yeah.
So actually double score for Doots if Doots takes it
and
from
5.
the sisters there.
Rolling for Val.
I got 3.
Yeah.
5 ups.
We can also potentially, especially
One
because
goes through.
2-inch engagement range,
I will.
into that terrain, as we see BeefSupreme measuring out here. It does actually restrict a lot where the units coming out of the Land Raider can go,
Good choice.
which expands that charge range quite a bit. Because we can advance and charge with core units in Creations of Bile, the Chosen or Astartes Legionnaires could potentially try to dig into the second Retributor unit. If we can shoot one unit to death and then get into melee with the second unit, we can potentially knock both Retributor units out in one go. And I think that Beef wants to prevent that from happening. So he actually has this exclusion zone with the melee range of these units pretty far out here. So this unit is preventing movement in a long distance, which means that the charge here would be pretty wide.
Come on, give me a... One more.
Goes there.
Alright, come on. Give me a good one. It's a 3.
Not bad. 2 left.
2 left. Alright, well that's... We'll burn that cherub too.
Well, that said, 2 Retributor squads firing into the Chaos Land Raider, plinging it for 14 damage. I said that this was going to be difficult to kill, and I guess I was wrong.
5.
Stop.
Come on.
Yeah, alright.
And I think it just goes down.
It'll be a 1.
Oh no, 1 damage!
You have 2 left?
It survives.
I am going to CP reroll that into another 1.
Gonna drop a CP reroll to kill it. Oh man, alright, well.
So you're down to how much?
I talked a big talk about that Land Raider being tanky, but it turns out these multi-beltas do not lie. I don't even care. Get out of here, stupid Land Raider.
I get a miracle die at the end of... Actually, I can still shoot.
So it's just Vol.
Yeah, so
you already used your chair, right?
To worry about the subsequent shooting here as well. If Vol had line of sight to one of these units, she could potentially kill a lot of them. Which would be very bad. She does have that gorgeous 2 damage heavy bolter on the arm. Although only AP1 means that the Armor of Contempt saves you pretty well. The Chosen aren't particularly susceptible either. They have 3 wounds. But the normal Astartes, Heretic Astartes, it's important to keep those guys alive because the big downside of Heretic Astartes in general is that they've very few objective secured units. And keeping those, kind of babying those Legionnaires certainly helps.
See.
That should be hidden there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot see that.
Toughness 9? More like toughness German for no, because you're no longer on the table, Land Raider. Get out of here. The only soul shattering that's happening right now is your soul being shattered directly into the destroyed pile.
Oh, this one is my shrine, obviously.
You didn't take Shrine, did you?
Yeah, Banner, Shrine, and Leap, right?
You've got Sacred Grounds.
Oh. Sacred Grounds and Banners is the same. Well, crap. That's probably game.
How did they do that?
Sacred Grounds. Oh, Banners
Yeah,
and
they're
Sacred
in the
Grounds,
same.
right?
Yeah, they're in the same column.
Yeah, just switch it, man. It's all good.
Yeah.
How many of my guys die, too?
Yeah, I don't think I did anything to that Land Raider. Maybe I talked too big of a game about that Land Raider, and that's what sealed its fate. A bit awkward about the factions there. I guess we were having problem with the scripting earlier, and it's supposed to lock out duplicate category objectives, but it looks like we just misclicked one of the objectives. And it's awkward. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, she'll take some shots. Why not? Makes sense. 2 shots from the rocket. Both hit. It'll be 4s.
See if we can fix that real quick.
Nothing. And then 3 bolters. All hit. 5s. 1. 2 up.
Good.
Very good. Right. I got that 3. I am not charging anything. I will pass it over to you.
Right. So you got your Shrine. You got 1 for Leap.
I got, yeah, Leap. I put it back on me. And I had control an objective I didn't, so I get 2 there.
Alright, so Disco's gonna corrupt himself.
So we're back to Dude's turn. He does have a couple options here. We do have a Zephyrim squad on Objective 4, and it may be that Dudes just wants to yeet the Chosen in. I think he would appreciate getting those Chosen into this terrain feature and behind this wall. That screens out deep strikes behind this area, but also prevents him from getting hit too hard with ranged attacks and kind of forces him, a unit to trade. And again, like I said, was talking about before, all Doots wants to do is force situations where the Sororitas can't kill him with ranged attacks, so they're forced to charge his units because he's so strong in melee, given the fact that his units will just trade every time. That's really where he's incentivized to go. So I wonder if we see an advance in charge on this Chosen unit. We have the other one that could potentially push for the middle. And that will lock Sororitas down to a 4-point primary. Chaos Vindicator taking Objective 2, touching both terrain features so it can see through. But there are a lot of Sisters Repentia sitting over there on the side of the table. It's a little dangerous. Unfortunate for Doots that he wasn't able to get the Cultists onto this objective, because that wouldn't have given him a nice, shiny, easily held objective there. But it looks like we are going to push the Chosen through, and that should be basically automatic charge with the 2-inch engagement rule onto the Zephyrim, although obviously he's wanting a big number. And behind this kind of screen of Chosen, that does give Doots the ability to push the Possessed pretty far forward. The question is whether he does that before being confident that he's knocked out enough Retributors. Because the last thing you want is the Retributors to unleash themselves onto the Possessed, because they do have pretty good profiles at knocking out the Possessed. Winning on 4s thanks to Black Rune of Damnation is a little bit awkward. And they do have a good invulnerable save if they are buffed with Cursed Earth, but obviously we have to see if that gets to the Shield of Faith.
Yeah, probably worth it at this point.
Here come the Chosen. Turns out today they have been chosen to just charge directly forward at the Sororitas army. Fair enough. And it looks like Legionnaire is also pushing forward.
Don't really care about
No
all
real
that.
reason to keep them too far back, because you do want to threaten objective secured on objective 3 in case your opponent tries to push for a 12-point primary. You're really incentivized to try to take that objective just to grab Long War and the Death and Zeal bonus points. And I have to imagine that if BeefSupreme elects to shoot at a unit of Legionnaires rather than the 10 Chosen that are bearing down on his army, that can't be a particularly good choice for him. Trying to clip a line of sight with the Lord Discordant onto the Retributor squad.
Yep, I think that's gonna be about it.
Don't want to play too far
no, sorry,
forward
these
with
guys
the
are in
Lord
advance.
Discordant, because it will get clipped out pretty efficiently by Sister's Repentia. You can minus some damage that guy, but with only 9 wounds, he's probably going down.
So we can
And if you're just trading him for a Repentia squad, that feels bad. He's really good at killing the Sororitas characters because of the number of mortal wounds he
I
deals.
think I go
Turns out, I don't know if you knew this, chat, you can't
That is difficult.
Moment of Grace
You know that,
a
just for coming out of it.
Yep.
mortal wounds. No saves against that, sir. Or ma'am. Milady. How are we doing tonight, by the way, chat?
Don't think you can fit 9 Zephyrin back
Hope
there.
everyone's having a good Wednesday.
And then
Thanks
this
for
guy
joining me
just
this late
just
stream.
Tad, not doing a
I was
whole
excited I was able to get it into the docket, though.
5 and 8.
It looks looking like the Pod 2 finals will be delayed until next week, but at least we'll have some more coverage to talk about over the course of the upcoming weeks. And we also have T5S2 GT, August GT. Registration closes for that tomorrow. So if you are not registered yet, get in that. Exclamation point events if you want to get to the event page on BCP. So pushing forward the
So the Master Possession will summon.
MOP. Oh, okay. So one thing that Doots does like to do is summon a Herald to give him his Psychic Interrogation. He does have the Demon Prince who can do it. The Master of Possession, generally speaking, wants to be casting his buff spells. He is very good at Psychic Interrogation, and you do see some Heretic Astartes lists that actually bring 2 Masters of Possession, because one of them can use its insane cast bonuses to generate CP off of a Psychic Interrogation by stabbing all of the friendly Space Marines near him. But
So I can interrogate.
obviously, that is, the HQ slot is probably the most highly contested slot in the Heretic Astartes army, so that's a little bit tough. So sometimes you just want to spend a couple points on some idiot demon that you're going to pop out.
Cool. We'll interrogate
All right.
Probably the
Herald.
effectively the only time in the game you we actually see summoning used effectively.
I will 6 up denied.
Looks like he has a Shield of Faith, trying to stop the
No, I'm gonna spend a CP to.
try to stop
4
the
up.
interrogation, and the 4+ also does not go off. That's something kind of interesting about the competition between Psychic Interrogation and 4+ deny abilities is that the Psychic Interrogation ends up being such a drain on the resources. Ooh, that's a Snake Eyes on our second cast here. You know, you see a CP reroll on that? We're a little bit low. Only 2 CP for Doots. This is an early perils. We probably don't want to be eating.
I'm going to CP it. I'm down to 1.
There's the reroll.
All right, I fail it. We're going to do Delightful Agonies. It does go off on a 7. Do you have models in range?
Which one?
So that effectively eats. If you're using a 4+ an eye ability to try to get rid of a psychic interrogation, while it has a 50-50 shot at removing the VPs from your opponent, so you probably knock them down to 9 out of 15, which is still an acceptable secondary, but a little bit sad. But it probably knocks you out of every one of your Battleforge CP bonus points during your opponent's turns, which essentially halves your CP for the game. Whereas the Psychic Interrogation player does not have to worry about that and can potentially be generating CP off those Psychic Interrogations. Obviously not if they get denied, but if the ones that don't get denied roll high enough, they will get that bonus. And that can be pretty brutal. So I actually kind of like Psychic Interrogation in that matchup. Not to mention the fact that if you have other important spells to get through, which Doots sure does with his Pact of Flesh, his Agonies, and, I mean, all of the buff spells that he just dumped into his army. Delightful Agonies on the Chosen to give them a 5+ damage ignore, +1 to hit from Prescience onto the Legionnaires in the center, and potentially Cursed Earth to keep those Possessed alive in the late game, plus Pact of Flesh to do that threat range increase that we talked about earlier. He does not want those being 4+ denied, so the interrogation usually draws out the deny, and then you can kind of play in the sprinkler with the rest of your casts. Although, against Adepta Sororitas, it's a little bit awkward because sometimes your stuff just gets 6+ denied. There's nothing you can do about it.
These guys advanced. These aren't shooting. Vindicator. Not a whole lot that I want to do with this. We'll shoot pink, though. So D3 +3. The big 6.
Max shots into a Retributor squad. Not enough
No
shooting to
threes.
actually kill it, though. Definitely
One
hoping that we
explodes, and then wounding on 2s. 5 at AP4.
had our Land Raider
6
there to
hits.
chip in some damage. Oh, 5
5.
Retributors go down. Hot damn.
Alright, that is all we've got for shooting, so I'll go to charges. I'm going to spend 1 CP for yellow so they can charge.
Was that unit in the Hospitaller aura? I know.
They were, but it's D6. He could have rolled a 1.
Here, I'll roll a bunch of damages. There was 2 1s if you want to take
I'll
those.
roll.
High plate. Hey,
Maybe.
there you go.
Alright.
That saves 1. Yeah, that's important. Turns out those damage ignore effects are actually non-optional. That Hospitaller goes out of her way to assist her wounded sisters there. And she
okay.
she's
Oh,
not
yeah,
allowed
I
to let them die. Morven Val's right there, and if she sees a savable Adepta Sororitas that could be bandaged up with a Hospitaller, she would give her a little thwacking with the Spear of Illumination.
So
Get back in there,
charges.
Hospitaller. What are you doing? This is your job.
I'm going to start with corn, going into orange here. Oh my god. I think there's still... Nope, I needed a 4.
Yeah, looks like a 4 would have made it over here. And we're down to 0 CP already for Doots? Oh, no. So we fail the charge at the
Into pink and orange.
Heretic Astartes into... Or the Legionnaires, excuse me.
There.
Into the orange squad. Got a big charge with the purple unit, but unfortunately a little bit of an imperfect screen here from BeefSupreme, which allows these Chosen to get through. Maybe, assuming? Yeah, okay. It's like exactly what he needed. Don't overdo it there, dudes, my boy. Hot damn. All right, so he's going to get 1 or 2 Chosen into the pink squad, which should clip them out. So we should see one Retributor squad removed here. And then if he destroys a unit on the objective and gets one of these chosen onto that objective, he will actually steal that away. The downside here is that those Legionnaires not getting on means that there's no objective secured there. So Doots has to kill these orange Battle Sisters to score all those points. Or at least to get them off the middle and prevent the double score. He'll probably kill the Zephyrim with this unit because they're not splitting attacks, which will score him his Death and Zeal and Longmore points.
I'm gonna roll an 8. Yeah.
Replace draw line spells with Pie Plate spells. I actually, obviously I made a video about War Machine and Hordes recently, so it's kind of on the brain. But they just reworked how their blast weapons work, and I actually kind of liked it. Obviously, it's a single model, a single entity sort of system, so each model is attacked individually, which 40k does not do. But when you attack with a pie plate and you hit directly, it's just a radius from the model that you hit gets blasted, and then if you miss, you just resolve the blast against the model itself and no other damage occurs, which it's I think a pretty elegant solution to the blast problem. Although obviously it requires some slightly different mechanics than what 40k uses.
You got 14 involves.
I got
Goodbye, Zephyr squad.
5 up. They're gone.
Yep, there they go.
Would you like to interrupt?
And that is a perfect position for that chosen squad 4 Doots. They are wholly inside the terrain here, so no easy line of sight from these scary multi-meltas or Morvin Vol, I don't believe, which means that this unit is going to have to be attacked in melee. And that's exactly what Doots wants, because he wants them to be charged. So obviously if they get charged, being Creation's Bile, they will either fight first because of Mark of Slanesh, or they'll get killed and then they'll fight on death anyway.
Else into orange.
So yeah, we're going to be splitting 4 chosen to try to kill the orange Battle Sisters, which we have to do. Make sure that Delightful Agony token goes with it. Oh no, that was so many misses though onto the Retributor squad. 3 wounds.
AP 3.
And we do have 2 CP
so
and
5 up.
some garbage miracle dice that we could spend for moments of grace to keep that last model alive.
I need a 5 though.
Oh, and 1 survives. 1 survives. Nailed it. And I think that is, it might be that we can actually re-engage that remaining model with the pile-in. The chosen has to go towards this model. Actually, it has to go here, unless this unit dies, which I think they probably will. Which means we can probably split them, but we do have to keep a guy on this objective, I think. Or I guess it's not necessarily that important. All right, so there goes that Sororitas unit. Where did the chosen end up going with their consolidate? I guess we can split this guy off to deal with the Retributor squad and string the unit in front of the Sisters army. And the reason that we do want to engage that Retributor squad, chat, is because there are going to be 2 more multi-meltas in that unit at the end of this turn, or at the beginning of the next turn. Or 2 to 3, I guess. Because that Hospitaller is going to start regenerating them. And we do have a 1, or we did, I think, have a 1 on the Miracle Pool to spend for an auto pass morale.
1 hits. Nothing.
Okay. Just your morale.
I used a 1.
Yep.
To pass.
Yep, there's the 1 spent.
So I'll get 2 here, 2 for specimens.
I think that will trigger a
3
leap
for
of faith. It looks like we spent 2 Miracle Dice there.
Alright. Yeah, I got
should
2
just be
on leap.
Yep. And we scored that out.
That's pretty good leap turn.
I think a good trade between these players. Obviously, Doots up a little bit on the attrition, but we basically we enacted the combo that Beef wants to see with these expanded Retributor squads, with their additional mooks in them, where one lady survives and then the rest of the unit gets regenerated or resurrected by the Hospitaller and continues to shoot it. So it looks like we're angling for a charge with Repentia into this chosen unit. Or is that Celestine? Are we looking for Celestine here? We do have a 5-woman of Repentia. Or a small Repentia squad, which I'm sure Beef would be much happier trading for a chosen unit. Because that is a trade up, despite the fact that they both die. Which I think he's alright with. There is a fallback and cheat for Retributors, chat. It's 1 CP in the movement phase for core units to fall back and shoot in Adepta Sororitas. It used to be, back in the day, it was fall back and charge and shoot, and it was wildly overpowered. But that was the 8th edition codex. This is 9th edition. We have fair stratagems now, we swear. But we can still fall back and shoot with that Retributor squad, no problem. Exciting so far, chat. But I have to think that this has probably put Doots in a very strong position. He's gotten big secondaries. His interrogation went off. He's got his specimens for the spider and long war triggered, and he's in a really aggressive position. The one downside is that his possessed are not particularly aggressive right now. They're not in a good position to push up into the center. But the last thing that Doots wants to do is overcommit with that possessed unit and get them killed too easily. Because they can just be clipped by by a Repentia unit, and or at least for the most part. Although we do have a Word of the Emperor on that Palatine, and so if the Palatine commits, yeah, right in the middle there, and removes their invulnerable save, even under Cursed Earth, a Repentia unit will probably actually just kill that entire possessed unit, or most of it. Yeah, I guess it depends on whether or not they got pointed out by Morphin Ball. They are winning on 4s because of the Black Green of Damnation, after all.
And they have the Feel No Pain.
Purple has...
The other question for me here is whether or not Beef goes for the Vindicator. And I almost wonder if he does with the Repentia unit. Because if he knocks the Vindicator out, he can steal Objective 2, or at least contest Objective 2, regardless of what happens, because there's no Cultist on it currently. Which means he will knock Doots down, assuming he kills everything else in the center, which I'm sure he will. He will knock Doots down to a 4-point primary, so they'll trade 4-point primary turns. But at that point, he's killed most of the ranged attacks in the Heretic Astartes army, and especially if he plays relatively cagey with that Repentia unit and engages here without pushing too far out, he may actually not even get hit by the Venom Crawler, which can only draw line of sight, you know, maybe here. Which means he forces something to come into melee, and then he can fight on death with his own Repentia unit and trade with them. So he can try to enact the Creations of Bile game plan with his own unit of Sisters Repentia. Although it does cost him 2 CP for that. We'll see. Although I think what we're doing is we're going to be buffing up the orange Repentia unit to try to kill the Chosen.
Okay. Move over.
2 6s in the Miracle Dice pool, by the way, for BeefSupreme. That is a nice
fight last.
This is a nice nest egg to save in there. We got a couple cheeky and vulnerable saves up our sleeve, I guess. Maybe a 6 on a damage roll if we need it with those Retributors. I guess we could also just be firing Retributors at the Vindicator, and they will probably eventually kill it. Well, maybe we don't need an entire Repentia squad in hindsight. Although they don't have rerolls this turn, it doesn't look like.
Repentia want to run first. Alright, Repentia are going to run. 4. It's acceptable.
Thanks for the follows today, everybody. I appreciate it. Been a little bit weird streaming schedule this week. Just because I didn't stream Monday, and today is a late stream. But we should be back to normally scheduled broadcasts tomorrow. I think I'd like to get some practice games in for this weekend. Decide whether or not I'm going to stick with my... Which tyranny list I'm going to stick with. I'm also kind of interested in playing some... There's been a lot of discussion about terrain layouts on the Discord. I'm interested in actually giving a couple of alternate layouts a try. Yeah, so here comes the blue Retributor unit lining up on the Vindicator. Prepare to be melted, Vindicator. Vindicator's sitting here like,
I'm assuming blue got rerolls.
I've got a seed shield,
Zach got
ladies.
rerolls.
What are you gonna do? And the Retributor's like, did you see what happened to that Land Raider? That thing was tough as 9. Got vaporized. Where am I going this weekend? Just an RTT. Oh, it has a pretty big prize pool, so there's gonna be a lot of competition, I think. Giving away like a 1,000-point army to the winner, which is kind of a big deal. I normally just play RTTs. If I'm at a GT, I'm typically streaming it. And we have a couple coming up, by the way. There's one at the end of this month. There is one. I believe I have one scheduled next month. One in October. I think I'm gonna hang out with War Games Live, Joe from War Games Live, in October at Battle for Salvation. And then I have one November and one December scheduled too. So we should have GTs, at least one GT every month for the rest of the year, which should be freaking sick, chat. I'm so hype. Warzone Nephilim's been great. The GT's been fun to stream. It's just a good time for 40k, man. Winter Assault in December? Yeah. That is the plan. In Boston, Mass. It's right next door to me, so pretty hype about it. It is I mean, that's much better for me, especially now that I'm streaming a little bit more consistently. But when I first started in 40k in this area, there were no GTs. There was one group in Connecticut that ran GTs, and that was about it. Otherwise you had to travel 4 or 5 hours. And in the last 6 months or so, GTs have been springing up like daisies, and it's been so sick. So now there are GTs constantly in this area, which is really good. We have kind of a critical mass of like gaming communities in the area too, which is awesome. So the 40k community is pretty big here. Sick, dude. Smatics. I'll see you there, buddy. Yeah, I think I just have to confirm with the TOs. I think I'm pretty sure that my invite has been processed to stream there, but I have to double check. I think it's just been a verbal agreement so far, but
as I mess this up, I'm gonna try and save it. All right, shooting. Everybody back here.
Oh no, we're not bringing Retributors back.
Done.
Don't forget.
Shooting. Blue is gonna go
Retributors back.
into.
No.
Fence.
No.
The
chat. Why?
Yep.
Not like this.
indicator.
Every time I talk about this combo, it doesn't go off.
Shot.
I get so excited about it because it's so cool, but
Fours.
then people forget about it.
Rerolling ones.
Alright,
for
well,
Val.
it is what it is.
Oof.
Rerolling ones. Oh, not too bad. Yeah.
3, right?
Oh,
So,
yeah. Yeah, I was thinking it was the Land Raider still.
Some on 5s.
Yep.
Oh, only one
2.
hit goes through on the Vindicator.
What do you bracket at?
You do have all
honestly,
those
have no idea.
6s in the bank? So you could drop
Actually,
a
don't
6
go
into
off
it.
this because this thing is super wrong. Let me
Okay.
actually tell you.
That lady, that's true, chat. The hospital Morvenval had to turn around and tell that hospitaller to save her sisters, which, to be fair, saved the unit. One model survived, and one model was saved by the damage ignore roll. So, you know,
3.
it's important to remember those abilities, chat.
And Val's gonna go into the Marines back here.
Okay.
We'll do.
So it looks like we just rolled damage, only a 3.
Bolters
Vindicator.
hitting on 3s because of the -1.
Yep.
And 3s because it's strength 6. There's
More of a
Good.
draw wall trying to
Good.
clip out some chosen.
rockets. Hit 2s. And AP -2 goes to 1. 1 goes through.
Kills a
There's a
digger.
6.
Oops. This guy.
Oh, excuse me. Attacking the
Shooting.
Astartes.
Anything else we
The
want to
Legionnaires in the
shoot?
back.
Not really.
That makes sense. They are a pressure on objective 4 that could break it next turn.
3.
If they get an
cannot
advance and charge and
interrupt,
get
they
there.
don't
So I'm sure that BeefSupreme would like to get rid of that as quickly as possible.
Battle Sisters will charge in here.
A bold choice.
Yeah.
So Sisters charging essentially just so that they can breach the engagement range of the Chosen. And assuming the downside here is that the Repentia are going to charge, the Chosen are going to fight, and the Chosen could potentially knock out the Battle Sisters. And if the Repentia aren't in a defensive position, they could actually get shot by the Venom Crawler, which could be awkward for them. But I imagine that we can get them in a pretty safe position. It does kind of split the Chosen's attacks, though. Although, I mean, Chosen hit so hard, and because fight on deaths are resolved one at a time, Doots actually kind of gets perfect information when he gets to split his Chosen's attacks. So if the Repentia go in and fight, he can actually just fight with exactly enough models to kill the Repentia, and then everyone else gets to go into the Battle Sisters and potentially kill them. So this is a little bit, this is a little scary for BeefSupreme. I'm sure he didn't want to get into his own charge range with those Repentia, but there is a potential here that he gets a little bit screwed by the fight on death. Look out. Not to mention the fact that we have a fight first, although the Palatine's going to tell this unit to fight last. So we don't have to worry about the effective free interrupt that Mark of Slaanesh gives them. Nurgle Matt in chat, what's up, dude? Thanks for coming by and visiting. So Sisters Repentia do make a big charge, but this is an aggressive place for them to stand. Doesn't get everybody in, but awkwardly, if the Battle Sisters get killed by the Chosen on the swingback, it does open the Repentia up to get shot. And there's sort of an awkward number of guns remaining in Doots' army where you can't. It's not amazing. It's not going to one-shot your units, your big units anyway, but it's just enough to make you keep your head down, which is exactly what Heretic Astartes want. They don't want to push too hard. But they also want to get that Exploding Sixes in turn 1 with heavy weapons, which is good. So it looks like we 6'd a charge, so 1/6 remaining in the miracle pool, with the Zephyrim into the Chosen and Legionnaires.
I like your choice of beacon in this list. Yeah. Oh no, you dropped.
No, you can't hear me? Oh no.
Yeah, I can hear you, but
didn't
TTS.
Yeah, looks like Beef just dropped out of the server. We'll let him get back in here momentarily.
I'll be right back, I guess.
Okay.
Well, anyway, chat. How's it going, by the way? I apologize for all the technical difficulties today. It's been a tough one. Oh my god. Just can't catch a break today, but you know, it is what it is. The warp is blocking communication. That's absolutely correct, chat, for sure. It's not even a shadow in that there warp. It's a regular old warp, you know? As you do. King Manadork making it to the Gamp. Yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out, bud. Thanks everybody for chilling with me today. Looks like we're just going to take a moment here. Eric, are you able to get back in?
It just said failed to connect that time. So, try again.
Game's still up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're chilling. There's an up in spite. I might be able to invite you too.
Let me try again.
This is, I'm sure, riveting content for everyone. Everyone gets to watch with the
There we go.
Hey, he's back.
Thanks.
The intricacies of Tabletop Simulator. Jen Ruckos with the soundboard. It's been a distinct lack of soundboarding today, chat, which is unfortunate. Inky's in the other room sucking up a bandwidth watching Netflix, right? She might, I have the door open behind me. She might come in and bug me at some point this game because I'm not watching Netflix. If I stay up too late, she gets mad at me because I'm not watching movies with her. So if you hear frantic screaming on the microphone, that would be it. Been loving the updated sound quality of the vids. Thank you. I had to record most of this week with my old headset. By the way, I need a new headset because this one's a little bit cumbersome. And I just got the stand for this microphone replaced because it was broken. All right, we are back to some gameplay. So I'm gonna send you back. I didn't like playing Tau, and I frequently talk about creations about. Do I think I'll play them in the future? I'm not sure. I think there are. I don't know. I actually do like playing Tau, chat. I just don't like playing new factions, I guess. I just complain when I play new factions. I wouldn't put it personally against Tau. I think it's sort of a personal problem. But I actually really enjoyed playing Tau. And I'm excited to get back to it with an updated list. I don't think my list is particularly optimal. And it was interesting talking to some Tau players over the course of the weekend too, because I got some unique perspectives about how Tau are meant to play. So here comes the Palatine pushing up to the side of this unit so that they are fight lasted. They will still get to use their fight on death,
6 attacks,
but they will still get to, but they will not get to use their fight first or an interrupt. Or I guess, actually, theoretically, they will get to interrupt because they are both fight first and fight lasted. So we do have to be a little bit worried here. New factions wouldn't be bad if the rules were written in a way where you could work out what they do with a quick skim read. Yeah, you're not wrong. That's not how it works, though. I also think that it is... I think it is something personal to me too, because it's not only in 40K where I've had that problem. And
you cannot end. I will fight first over here everywhere, I believe.
That is correct.
And then I will go with the Repentia first.
All right, here comes Repentia swinging. We can reconvene this discussion after this fight phase, because this fight phase is going to be explosive.
You just need me to roll average, which looks like it's coming. Hit on 4s, reroll hits.
And we are impassioned on these Repentia.
That's good for you. 2 exploded. 9. It'll wound on 3s.
Yep. I will take that.
Wow, yeah.
Oh,
oof.
Not a great roll.
I get 6s. He killed 2.
Yeah.
Only 2 chosen go down there? Oh, no.
Let's see.
Not like this. So that means the chosen will get to combat activate normally?
No, and I need to
SpaghettiOs.
Sure.
They need to be 2.
So that means that the majority of the unit will actually get to fight normally and doesn't need to fight on death, which means we could knock out the Battle Sisters now.
All right.
Okay, so let me put this on me real quick.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kill... you know what, we'll just kill these 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go everything into Repentia. So that's 8 attacks.
Okay, so trying to kill the Repentia. Awkward part here is that because we pulled the models on the objective, and I believe that we're based here, if the chosen don't kill the Battle Sisters now, they're actually locked off the objective. Yeah, I think they are.
So 4...
Yep.
Not a ton of wounds back of the Repentia unit, though. Only 4, and they do have an invuln save and a damage ignore. Yeah, there's one invuln save.
5.
Kill 2.
This has been sort of hilariously impotent, actually. 4 Repentia, kill 2 chosen, and lose 2 back, and then swing back? That's not what you expect out of Repentia. Oh, it kills 3, excuse me.
Okay, and then I'll fight with the squad next.
Yep.
This guy is still in range, so I'm going to put 1 more into the Repentia, and the other 2 will go into the Battle Sisters. So into the Repentia.
So a single chosen attacking the Repentia, which is a lot. It's a lot of attacks.
All right, give me 2.
That strength 6 coming into play here pretty well. 2 wounds go through. Yeah, it does overkill her a little bit. You do have to get rid of that Repentia, but 2 chosen. Can 2 chosen kill a Battle Sister squad? That's the question. We do have no Miracle Dice remaining.
Ooh, wish I was exploding.
So it is 7 through.
AP3.
And they do save on 5. So there's a non-zero chance here that this Battle Sister unit survives and actually retains control of that objective, which would be a big deal. What do we get? They do survive,
1, 2,
chance.
3, 4,
Oh, no.
3, it goes to a 5-up, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
so the Battle Sisters will hold that, assuming that we don't run away with this last Superior. But we are going to be getting a Miracle Dice from the Repentia dying, and potentially if we kill one of these units with the Zephyrim, we can be getting another Miracle Dice for killing unit in the fight phase. Oh, did that kill them? Hold up, did I miss something?
All right.
I thought that was only 4 casualties. Did I?
Zeph will go next. This one's going to come this way. It's closer this way, this
Alright,
way.
well, there you go.
Come with 2, so it'll be 3 onto them. The rest onto the Chosen. Yeah, I don't want to kill the Chosen. It's anything else first.
Okay.
So it'll be 1, 2. That she has. So it'll be 16 attacks into them.
Okay.
My Repentia could hit like that. That would be nice.
And they saw them go down, and now they're angry.
Yeah. So it'll be 4s. They have battle rerolls.
Yep. Ew.
Man.
These will be 6s, though.
Yeah.
Ooh. 2.5.
I'm not even mad.
We'll go with these guys, and I'll do them once you're done making attacks.
Yeah.
Okay,
so that was 3. There should be 6.
Just had to rewind my VOD real quick there.
Yeah.
But we saved a save
Be 30
for the CP reroll if we needed it. And
They got Warham too, yeah.
Yeah.
that was what we missed with that Sororitas unit dying. So they failed 4 to begin with, and then we tried to see if we could save the last one with the CP reroll, and didn't go through. All right, we figured it out. Mystery solved. If you do hear some squeaks, Inky is asking to go to Netflix now.
4s.
Not like that.
Not like that.
Okay, that was better.
Good
These are
enough.
going to be 6s, and then 5s. Ooh, I think you got me still. Yep.
All right.
Alright, so... on me, I guess I'll go with these 2 Duders back here. So these are regular Duders, so we're looking at 8 attacks. They did get present, so 2s, didn't really matter. And then 2s because they're corn. Those are 7 AP1s.
Are they AP2 with corn? Do you have an icon?
No, yeah, I didn't get an icon.
Oh, okay.
Out of points.
So take 1 dead. Matter.
Alright, and then pink. So it'll be 4 guys into the Zephyrim, and then I'm going to do the champion into the Palatine.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be 16 into the Zephyrim.
Mm-hmm.
2s and 2s. Oh, no. Oh, alright. I deserve it, I guess, for the other one. AP3.
AP3, 5.
We got what? 4 left over there, and then we've got into the Palatine, 6 attacks. Uh, 5, it's your bowl.
Info on the Palatine.
Yep.
At 4 ups, just in case. The way things are going. That takes 1.
Takes a scratch.
3.
Okay. And then I guess it's my...
I can still... They get to activate because they charge?
Sure. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
I can't quite get Morven Valley. What I could do is get her in and then heroically intervene if you don't fall back. Yeah.
Unfortunately, my view of the game is being obstructed slightly here, chat. I apologize. We did just
get
an inky can going. Alright, please don't touch my keyboard, though.
Palatine will
This is a mistake.
move her 6. Is that within, is that bubble too?
Yeah, that'd be it.
Is she on the? She's on the mark.
Yes, you'd be an engagement if you want.
Yeah, but you already attacked,
yeah,
so I can't. It doesn't matter. So she will tie you down. Morven Val is going to move her 6 here, so she'll be 3. So I could heroically intervene. You can unless you fall back, which is also.
She's just sullenly sitting in my lap.
I get a.
So the trading has occurred.
Miracle die.
We did. We didn't kill the Chosen, but we did get rid of the Battle Sisters on Objective 4. That does contest it with the Palatine. Although the Palatine's a little exposed now. It's a little scary, but she does have Fight Last, so if she doesn't get shot to death, the Chosen will have a little bit of a trouble getting rid of her. And then in the center here, most of the Zephyrim mutually annihilated with the Chosen themselves, and now we're going to see the Legionnaires try to kill them. If the Legionnaires do kill the Zephyrim, actually the Legionnaires should be grabbing the center objective regardless for a 12-pointer on Doots' side.
Ooh, God, stop it. Got to.
Because their objective secured. The Obsec was on the Repentia this turn on Objective 4, but they're gone from the Dogmata. So we are down to a single Zephyrim in that unit, and we do have a 2 on our morale check, potentially, but I don't think that's going to save us.
She's not
you're
not Obsec, right?
No.
Doesn't really matter.
So I believe that that will be an actual rolled morale check. We do have enough to CP to auto-pass it if we want to. I think we just try to roll the 1, potentially.
Bravery. You can come into the reds, that's fine. Guess I will insane bravery it. So I don't want you charging into her. Yeah. Can do that.
Alrighty.
So we did spend the CCP for Insane Bravery. Keeps the Zephyrim Superior around.
Over to you.
It does give Sororitas
so I'll be on 3 then?
to play with. But I don't know if that's necessary. Is she on this objective? She actually is. So that actually triggers the mission secondary if she's killed. I don't know if that was TCP worth there, chat.
We're contested.
Nope.
Did you get the 2?
And Doots does score a 12-pointer. All right.
Yes, I killed a squad.
Well, that's the power of Creations of Bile. If your only opportunity or your only option is to shoot them, things get a little bit awkward because they will end up, or your only option is to melee them and not shoot them. Things can get awkward because they will just kill you back, and that's basically what we saw here. A little bit of an overextension from Sororitas, ended up losing a bunch of models for it, which is unfortunate for them. But a lot of the cheap front line of the Heretic Astartes is gone. We don't have anything in reserve for them, whereas we do have another 9 Zephyrim waiting in the wings, literally, for Adepta Sororitas. And now we do have these Marines in combat here. I don't believe we have a way to fall back and charge with them.
This is turn 2, so I'm already gonna
Which
get
means
2.
there's not too much that Doots can do. He can operate with his chosen unit and maybe try to kill the Palatine to get rid of that Word of the Emperor. Or make something happen against the Retributor squad, which makes a ton of sense. But from there, he's just going to run across the table with the Possessed unit and hope for the best. And the Dogmata is going to be problematic for them since they are not objective secured. And BeefSupreme can obsac whatever he wants to hold down the fort.
Okay. I'll advance these green cultists.
Mm-hmm.
Go in 10. All right. This point.
So we were talking earlier a little bit, well, we have a bit of a break in the action in the movement phase, about playing new factions. I know there's a discussion in the chat about it, where, yeah, like just basic faction sort of strategic summaries aren't really what you want. You definitely want, in my position, it's like, I think like model positioning is where the toughest part comes from. Like you can build lists okay and suss out how well they do. And especially on TTS, where you can play a bunch of games, it's a little bit easier. But there's a method of like visual list building, which I think I kind of want to do an advanced tactics on, if I can like ever sort of formulate what I mean. But when you're building your list, like if you're familiar with the faction,
Yeah, that was a little light.
We'll see. I undercommitted, and I realized it after I'd started moving things, but
Yeah.
that's all right.
This is Trevor Guy does faction overviews on YouTube. Yeah, I think it's one thing to talk about what the units do. It's another thing to be able to like sort of position them effectively on the table, and it just takes a lot of reps, I think, which is a little bit tough to get to. But like I was saying before, I think there is a skill to it, and there are people who are, and I honestly think that this is probably the #1 skill in competitive 40k at getting very good. If you want to get to the level of like somebody who's winning GTs consistently, the skill is being able to operate any faction you want without a problem, and that's because that lets you play the metagame more heavily, and you can flick back and forth really well. So we're trying to get the Vindicator out of line of sight of the Retributors here, so that they don't just nuke it. Looks pretty safe. But that is a skill in of itself, and having like really good sort of fundamentals like that and a really strong understanding of the game. And unfortunately, personally, I'm not so great at that. I'm good at on the tabletop knowing what to do with a single faction, but multiple factions is tough for me. And that's something that's kind of plagued me in every game. Maybe I just get set in my ways or something, but I've always generally mained a faction, and then sometimes I'll branch off, but not often. Yeah, for sure, chat. Yeah, it's very similar in Magic the Gathering too. And especially like knowing matchups in Magic the Gathering is such a big deal. So being able to like assess and it's similar in 40k a little bit, maybe not so much. You kind of play your list more than you play the matchup in 9th edition 40k. In 8th edition 40k, playing the matchup was much more important. But in 9th ed, a lot of times you just sort of do your thing, and if you can do your thing better than your opponent, you win. But that's the same in Magic, where like knowing which cards to rummage for and you know exactly the tempo you want to go at in a particular matchup is a really big deal.
She's good there. This guy's a little out of position. So we'll come up a tad. Fuck, I really don't like that guy there.
Yeah, so it seems like Dude's feeling the burn a little bit of not having too much to push aggressively for. The one thing that Zephyrim being auto-passed did do is it forces these Legionnaires in the center to kind of play very defensively for a turn, and it doesn't allow Doots to just sort of replace them with another unit and then have them push forward to try to get the Retributor squad. Although I don't know if there's a great danger of them killing the Retributor squad. They could grab the Retributors or maybe try to hit Celestine or something. Although I don't know if they're going to do that much damage to them. But at the very least, it prevents them from pushing forward and trying to steal objectives.
A little close.
You scored a 3 on the second primary first turn. I'm giving you an extra one.
Oh, was it 3? I thought it was 2.
If you do, if you kill something and hold one.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
The other option here is we advance, which seems pretty decent. So let me advance this. I haven't moved him there yet. I just want to see what this advance looks like. So another 4 inches. Actually looks pretty decent. So this guy goes here. I can shoot this. Pretty far from Rapintia, although you are looking good on Miracle Dice. I think that is a gamble I'm willing to take, though. You don't have Holy Piety, do you?
No.
So you can go 12. Literally got to roll an 11, so you're going to need another 6, basically, to make that charge. And I will punish you for it. I can also just block this guy. Yeah, let's do that. We'll get these chosen out here to block for them. That gives you a better charge into them, but if you want to do that, that's real cool.
Would really like to get a cat cam on the stream chat. If the cat would friggin' stay still for half a second.
Or do I?
So pushing the Lord Discordant pretty far forward. What we're a little bit worried about, I think, is a big because we do have a 5 and 6 in Miracle dice pool. So the Repentia could push for a really, really long charge if they need to. So he's worrying a little bit about the Lord Discordant getting touched by the Repentia and getting clipped out. But obviously, if that happens, they will just get nuked by the Chosen in this situation. Not if the Chosen run away, though, to be fair.
You think you can get him?
Used to play Mark 1, Mark 2 War Machine. It was a good game for picking a faction. I have a lot of list variability, but it spun out of control in Mark 3. Yeah, I agree. I am really interested in the sort of the hard reset in Mark 4 War Machine of the Prime format. There's a lot of people who are worried about how the mechanics from like existing Mark III units will transfer over to Mark IV. And I think that they shouldn't really be worried because I hope that the move goes towards Prime format being the big deal. Because again, you know, you get rid of that spiraling if you just get rid of all of the problematic units. So Possessed Star moving out to protect the characters. Doesn't really help you though if this Demon Prince is out here with nothing in front of it.
That would be fun, but I'm not gonna do that. And then these guys advance. So 11, so going 9 out of this. These chosen.
I played Mark III War Machine, chat.
Oh wait, we're in combat, aren't we?
Yeah.
So
I was at the WTC twice in Mark III War Machine.
okay, doesn't want to measure for me. I don't know why. So you will be able to heroic unless I fall back. Interesting.
So yeah, this is an interesting situation for Doots. The Chosen have been engaged by the Palatine, who uses the combat movement to pile and consolidate 6 inches towards them. And with the 2-inch engagement rule is engaging them, which means that they aren't able to push towards the Retributors. And I think the downside here is that Doots is sort of running out of things to deal with the second Retributor unit. So they're going to continue to be firing away at his vehicles, unless he can deal with them. I guess he does have another shot from the Vindicator, but we'll see if that actually ends up mattering.
Or I can have you score 4 points.
Yeah, I was doing sort of an inventory of my stuff, and I have an unassembled Crix army from Mark II War Machine that I think could convert over pretty well to Mark IV.
So
And I'm kind of interested in getting back in with a new army. Maybe with the new Signar guys, the Storm Legion. They look really cool. I used to play Signar back in the day, so I'd be kind of interested in playing them again.
Outside. We'll go all the way back here. Might as well. Leave 2 on, so you are no longer contested. So that'll actually give me a long war right there, which is nice. And, or does it? Because it might have to be controlled by you. Yeah, controlled by your opponent. So it doesn't actually give me long war. But I'm going to get... if I didn't do that, I'm going to die, and I'll get 1 point at least for killing the Sephirim. Can't do anything about this Palatine unless I move this. Which is honestly not terrible.
No, I think we are going to be angling for that Venom Crawler shot onto the Palatine. Again, we do have some good Miracle Dice in this pool here to keep her alive if we want to. We have a Moment of Grace fodder on the 2, and a 5 and the 6 for a cheeky pass save. But all you need is 2 through to actually kill them. Kill that model.
And
downside of not being lookout sirred by anything.
I think we're pretty much out there. Yeah, so
lookout ma'am, I guess.
Here. That's looking pretty good.
So Discord Lord pushed out.
So let's do stuff.
I have to imagine that. I guess we're hoping that the Chosen survive, but I have to imagine that the Chosen and the Marines here get knocked out by the Retributors, unless the Retributors survive.
There's a 6.
Nah, rolled a 6.
Or get
nice.
Don't survive. Is potential. They will get hit by a Vindicator. So I think we auto-denied the interrogation.
Prince is just going to go for a smite.
Big yikes.
Goes off on a 6.
Smite goes off. Just going to clip out that Zephyrim.
Assuming you save one of these for me. Yeah. So that'll just kill her. Master of Possession. I do want Cursed Earth. I don't care about it too much, though, so we're just going to try to roll it. Nope. And I don't... we'll do Pact of Flesh. Goes off on a 7.
Going to start healing back our Legionaries over here.
Get one of these duders back.
Very nice. Interestingly, kind of a mechanic shared between both Heretic Astartes and Necrons is that repair on their multi-wound infantry, which makes both factions, and especially because both factions are kind of reliant on those big infantry models, both of them are a little susceptible to no prisoners, because you end up kind of bleeding additional wounds over the course of the game with the revivals.
I'm not going to risk the perils. Okay, shooting. Venom Crawler will shoot your Palatine.
So resolving the Venom Crawler shot first. Not a lot else to do here, besides the Vindicator. Look at that hit roll, though.
3 explode.
Oh my god.
2s.
That was wild. 6 shots, 9 hits. Did fail a couple wound rolls.
7 AP2s.
Expected. Palatine is saving on 3s here, thanks to cover and Armor of Contempt.
Cover, ignores it, so it's going to be 3 ups. How much damage?
There'll be 2 each.
3.
Yeah, probably gotta slow roll this out, because we can only survive 2. Or we can only survive 1. There's 2 gone through.
She is going to die.
That'll kill her. Are we gonna spend the CP to try to revive, maybe?
How much do I want to? Oh, I got disconnected again.
Oh no. BeefSupreme having endless problems with our TTS today. Hot damn, chat. Again. Looks like we've lost our Sororitas player once again.
I did too. Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you, TTS.
Yeah, it's one of those nights.
Yeah, for real.
I'm gonna lock down a save.
Trevi, I'm gonna make a game and get rid of that token that was giving you trouble real quick.
It's something about the conflicting wills of the Emperor and the Chaos Gods or something. I think that makes sense, right?
That sounds right.
Yeah. We're forging a narrative.
I'm convinced. What we're trying to do is get these sisters to get on board with the Dark Gods, because shit's busting over here, dude.
That's fair.
No cap on God.
They're like, yeah.
On the Dark Gods.
They're really here. They want to knock on those Repentance doors and be like, ma'am, how would you like to be able to fight on death without spending TCP?
You have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior, Satan.
Yeah. Our Lord and Savior, Fabulous Bill over here.
Fabulous Bill.
He can give you +1 strength. And it's not even like a superior +1 strength. It's like a real +1 strength.
I mean, have you seen his hair, though? I mean, maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe it's the Dark Gods. I don't know. All right. I've gotten rid of my egregious...
There you go, chat. Cat camera. Oh, no.
Let's see if I can remember how to save a file.
Just like trivia, I only watch content. I'm not part of content.
All right, we back up.
I'm trying to get back in. The server wasn't coming up, so I'm restarting it.
Okay.
Xeno spotted.
Is this a Xenos chat? Is that what's going on? No Xenos in the game.
Xeno spotted. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and restart too. I'm not getting anything.
This server's not coming up for you. I'm still not getting it.
Restart Steam.
Yeah, I have it saved, so I can give it a rehost if we need, but it is still hanging out for me.
Be right there. There's more servers
coming up for you guys.
Give me a sec. I think it's working now. Oh, maybe not. Let me try again.
Yeah, it's still not coming up for me.
Wild. Coming back in a sec here. Just had to rehost the server once again for our players. Pretty unfortunate, but you know, it's one of those days. It's not even Tuesday. It's Wednesday. All right, chat. Here we go. Somebody pop it in here momentarily.
Thing is shooting today.
This is the only game. I actually really hate this thing.
2 into the beats, Shan.
3's the hit.
All right, we are back.
Yeah,
so we did, while we were off camera a little bit there, chat.
4 saves.
The decision was made to keep the Palatine alive with the Resurrection strat. So she is going to be alive on 1 to keep that Word of the Emperor active. And now we're firing the Vindicator. So the Palatine did get bossed by the Venom Crawler. We're firing the Vindicator into the Repentia over here. It looks like 3 go down. Very nice shot from that thing.
So I think that's going to be it.
Beats and
Take the
cats.
lead on the Repentia, and they're gonna
at least we have game entertainment.
Yeah, so I'll get 2.
Intermission entertainment, I guess, as the
objectives.
Despite our technical problems today.
Failed interrogate, and I'll get 3 for this.
Yeah, so interrogation was 6 plus denied this turn. Pretty unfortunate for Doots, but there's not much you can do about that. I am a little bit worried about his Marines in the front here.
Yes.
There are there's a single retributor, obviously, and then the squad of retributors, either of which can be, or I guess the single retributor can be targeted by the hospitality this turn to generate some multi-multis. If they move in and kill these two legionnaires, that actually opens up the rest of the characters here to potentially get hit by the characters, which isn't too big of a deal, but you never want to be taking those Morphin Ball missile shots with potential miracled sixes on those characters. That's because Morphin Ball can push this way, so she's laterally closer here than she is to these models. I don't think she even has to push too far forward, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
Salary rolls are going the only place they can right here. Driven onward. Same place. OBSEC is going here.
So it looks like we're souping up this big Repentia unit. The question is where it's going to go. They do have objective secured this turn, so if they push to the Vindicator and end up killing it, we do have 2 5s and a 6 for potential miracled charges and advance rolls with the driven onward to advance and charge. They could go in and knock out the Vindicator and steal objective 2 away from the Heretic Astartes, or we could see them push to the middle and try to clip out the center objective there to prevent the double scoring. The downside that I see there is that the Legionnaires actually do trade remarkably well with the Sisters Repentia.
Now we'll move into
Just because they're relatively cheap, especially in comparison to Chosen, and the fact that they have a chainsword rather than a cursed weapon doesn't really matter so much because you're not really worried about the additional AP value on that accursed weapon. You just want a volume of attacks against Repentia, who don't have any armor. So that would be a little bit of a trade down, I think, for this Repentia. But on the flip side, there's not much else that actually deals with these Astartes in the center besides Zephyrum squads, and you don't want to be sending Zephyrum squads into them either. Although the Zephyrum is probably the best. The downside is that the Zephyrum then just get peeled by a Chosen unit or by the Possessed, and you're running out of units that can deal with those models. Yeah, we'll play like 40k by mail, chat. You know, my guy's 6 inches north. 22.8 degrees south, so that it's on objective 2. You just mail that. Could you imagine a full turn in 40k in mail? Like, you'd have to do movement phase up through like the first psychic test, and then like ask your opponent if they want to deny, and you have to wait for the snail mail to come back. And they're like, no, deny. And you're like, okay, second psychic test. And they're like, no, deny. You're like, okay, third psychic test. And they're like, I'll deny this one. That sounds really fun. So full rerolls from Vol, pushing these Retributors down. Most likely to kill those 2 Marines and potentially the Chosen. We do have doors in these buildings down here, chat. So the Chosen are in danger. I'm in danger, they say, through their weird Vox faces. Should knock them out with full rerolls, I believe. You can't do a screenshot, right, chat? Because we're not playing. There's no game. There's no game board. We're playing with in our minds.
Palatine. Oh, she gets her die. She's gonna run with it. It's a 2. I think that'll be good enough.
Palatine runs away. Is gonna get healed by the Hospitaller. That's cute.
It's good enough. This Retributor's gonna run 2.
And it looks like, is our single Retributor gonna be running to that objective? Yeah, it looks like it. So that's the model we're gonna use to hold that down. We do need to kill these 2 Marines down here then, though, because they will just kill that Retributor by themselves and take the objective back away. Dudes would love to trade those 2 models for another crack at a Long War and Death and Zeal score. But what does Sororitas do about these Legionnaires in the center? Doots is in a really defensive position right now, and I really like it. Normally, you see Creations of Bile having to play so aggressively, but right now, just because of how he's been able to dodge this ranged fire base that Sororitas have on the side of the table over here with his Retributor squad, he's forcing these melee units to come into his jaws. And that's exactly where Creations of Bile want to be. I almost feel like you maybe trade a 5-woman Repentia squad for the Legionnaires instead of the big squad. Looks like Celestine's going to push for it. All right, fair enough. It's probably unlikely we have enough damage in the shooting phase to kill Celestine before it comes to charge phase. And so if we can kill her in fight phase, then she has the chance to regenerate, and then she gets to... We have to spend a whole nother turn killing her for the Heretic Astartes next round.
Always. So it'll be 19, maybe a 7-inch charge. We'll use that at 6, why not?
So it looks like, yeah, we are going to be sending the Repentia to Objective 2. Celestine to try to clip out the Marines on Objective 3.
Start moving up.
And hoping our guns are enough to kill the Chosen. That does leave... we do have to bring in the Zephyrim this turn. And they are screened out from the corner here. So I wonder where you put the Zephyrim where they don't get hit by the advancing and charging Chosen. Probably, like, somewhere over here.
Thank you. They're gonna run minimum of 1.
Maybe you just put them back in the objective on Objective 5 for next turn.
Maybe. These Battle Sisters are gonna run 8. Crusaders will run 12. Shooting time, Celestine is going to come into them. Try her luck.
All right, Sally, what do you got?
Bolters.
If she does knock out these 2 Marines,
All hit.
spell's doomed for the Chosen because the Retributor will get to full convert into them. Looks like only 1 with the Bolter. Ooh, got a full convert with the missiles.
Both hit.
Probably a little scary.
Both wound. AP -2. 4 ups.
Rips. Goes through.
1 goes down for 6 damage.
There's
So a little overkill on that Marine. So we do have to peel some Retributors into them.
Alright. Then I'm going to do the half range. Is it to ones you can see or any of the squad as long as you can see it?
For range, it's model per bottle. So that
Okay.
guy.
So I'll do the 3 half range into there and then 1.
So it'd be 2, right? Because this guy would have to shoot.
It's what you can see? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Then 1 not half range.
Half range will go first.
All right, here we go.
4s.
Trying to knock out these Chosen. Looks like 3 hits going through. Let's see those 2s to wound.
2s re-rolling.
Morven, save us. Uh-oh. That's not great. And they are in cover
6s.
with Armor of Contempt. I guess the cover doesn't matter because it is a Retributor.
We're into there.
We have 1 more D6 shot to try to kill that last guy.
Yeah.
Hit.
I don't believe we have an Armorium Cherub available for these ladies,
more.
so if they do go down, they go down forever.
Oh, we're done.
Yeah, it looks like first one goes through, second one goes through.
Unless you roll two
Unless I
ones.
roll double ones.
1 in 36, he doesn't die?
I'll do one at a time.
No, he's dead.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Cool.
Alright, and then
See
the
ya.
one into the other squads.
And we kill that aspiring
hits.
champion. Uh-oh, there it is.
2.
Double sixes to save. No,
Nope.
and that's going to kill him too. All right, perfect conversion there. for
They
the
did their
Retributions.
job.
Did mean
She
that
shot,
Morven
they
didn't
shot.
push forward to shoot at the characters. So Doots'
17,
characters
I
do
did not
survive for a
turn
turn.
on, so she
And they can push forward onto Objective 4 themselves. But obviously, I think while he is going to be upset about losing that objective potentially, BeefSupreme probably fine with losing a single Retributor in exchange for a Lord Discordant pushing forward.
Yeah.
Though I think we
Oh,
probably see the Lord Discordant trying to kill the Retributors here.
You want to go back to your move.
Why?
Zephyr.
Yes, thank you.
Dude's here with the ultimate sportsmanship right now, reminding his opponent that he had to place a Zephyrim down. Can we talk about how sweet of an opponent Doots is? It is battle round 3, so the Zephyrim have to come down. We did talk about them coming down on Objective 5 in order to sort of act as a next wave for future turns, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing.
I need a 7.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna burn a 5. You're not gonna Overwatch, right?
No.
Alright, it's 3d6 drop the lowest.
Oh, 3d6, yeah.
And they're driven onward.
Oh,
They
big
can
charge
go...
here.
What, I use a 5?
Yeah,
They
so
can
what I
go
had to
11?
over-
That's cool.
Yep.
Well,
Very
double
nice.
ones to fail that
How
charge.
many models? You have 2 models on?
Yeah, you'll take it.
Yeah.
And because the Repentia are objective secured, they'll steal the objective away. Now, hilariously, a couple of things to keep in mind. One thing is that it's probably behooves the Repentia not to touch the terrain, as weird as it sounds, because that does open them up to get shot by the Venom Crawler, and I'm sure Dudes would love to shoot that Venom Crawler into them. Get rid of some of those Repentia before they have the opportunity to attack on death. Because the corner of the terrain blocks line of sight here, that means in order to shoot them, if this unit piles into somewhere like this, the Venom Crawler would have to be in a very far forward position to cut that line of sight across, which is very difficult. But not if they're touching the terrain. Celestine going into the Marines here. Those are not Mark of Slash, so they don't get to fight first. So Celestine's mostly feeling okay there. And AP1 Chainswords into an Armor of Contempt 2+8. Not that great. Probably not going to take any damage on the swing back. Now, hilariously, the Creations of Bile vehicles actually do get to fight on death. So assuming this Chaos Vindicator goes down, the Repentia will...
Yes, if you want to spend 2 on that,
well, it might get run over by it, although it does, I believe, bracket down to 1 wound before it fights.
First.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Alright, 6 attacks. Well, I'll hit at least.
Mm-hmm.
Strength 7, so 3s. Come on, Celestine. 4. Don't roll any 6s, please.
I got
1
one.
6.
Kill 3.
Do get. Yeah, and then I got the whatchamacallits. The Gemini. I believe they hit on 3s. It doesn't matter. I'll keep those for the exploding 6s. And then it's going to be 4s. Toughness 4, strength 4.
T4, yep.
Yeah, that should do it.
Just got me. They'll fight you back, though. So that's going to be 10, so 18. Hitting all 3s. 2 explode. And 2s. You got 12 at your base save.
And Marines cracking back at these Gemini.
2 ups.
Those
I already
overlapping
used
strength
3
buffs,
miracle dice, so I
giving him
don't
2s
need
to
use
wound,
that
which is a pretty
anymore.
big deal.
1
It's like one Gemini goes down. Yeah, that's a trade.
Perfectly
You
average.
take that.
I'm assuming you're not going to interrupt.
Correct.
Honestly, a little bit more than I expected, to be fair. No interruption with the Vindicator. That'd be pretty amazing. Sisters Repentia.
Probably.
Are we angling to engage the cultists? Feels like an aggressive move. I don't know if we want to do that. Not sure I love the position of these Sisters Repentia here, since all we need to do is put 3 models on that objective.
They're all within half an inch of half an inch. Look good.
Yep, looks fine.
6, 8 times 3 is going to be 24.
Stay strong, Vindicator. You'll be fine. These chain swords are just for show. Oh my god, look at those
Now
exploding
they wanna
6s, chat. 8
Yeah.
6s rolled.
Now I'm going to explode on you.
The
Yeah,
Vindicator was not fine, as it turns out. Wound rolls in the sack.
So
no,
this
it's fine.
thing does have a 2-up, so these will be 5s.
Isn't it just for shooting for the 2-up?
That's a great question.
Drink.
It is only against shooting. Good call. So 6s.
Yeah, get out of here,
Didn't
Vindicator.
I am dead.
You've been
I blow?
eviscerated, sir.
I do. Sorry.
And there's explosion.
I
The
will hit my own guys. So
D6 or... Well,
6 inches for D3.
okay.
So on my guys, I take 2, you take just 1.
1. All right. She dies. Why would you do that?
Awkwardly for Doots, it does force a morale check on the cultists.
I
which
will
are
need morale. I'm just going to roll the morale right
not,
now. I think you're done.
not high leadership.
We are good.
You don't really have shooting. You have the Venom Crawler
Yes.
that has 6 shots, 2 damage. Maybe it might come into you. How many could you get in? 5. You hit on 4s.
I do. It'd be 4s and 4s.
You know what?
Oh, chat. What are we doing right now?
Let's do
Don't
it.
do this. No. So that gives the cultist a combat move. There's going to be 7 Repentia on the objective. And you can, with a pile and consolidate
Alright.
move on the cultist, you can get...
I will
I
activate.
think you can get all of them onto the objective.
No,
Uh,
probably shouldn't have done that.
I think this is a punt here, chat. Could have contested. He could have controlled this objective on the Sororitas side, but just not electing not to. I guess he's gonna give Doots another 4 points, so he'll have another 8-point primary. I don't know about that, chats. This is not a winning situation. Giving your opponent free victory points is not
So it's just
usually
gonna
how
be
you
those
win
4
games
guys
of
then.
40,000.
One of them is the champion, so that'll be 5 attacks.
Yeah, Emperor Palpatine in their voice here, in their ears. Do it. Engage them with your big sword.
4 hits.
Also, this
2
cultist,
imps.
these cultists going kind of wild with their melee attacks. Got a 6+ invuln save, 5+ damage ignore. Oh no. We killed 2 Repentia too, so it's actually even easier they take the
The
objective
humble
back.
cultist.
Not like this. Oh no, chat, what are we doing?
I just gave you the point, which I realized as soon as I consolidated.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that should be in the annals of 40k idioms that you should keep in mind. I guess alongside always be basing. ABB is never be engaging people who could steal your objectives away. NBEP WC or C WCYOA. That's easy to remember, I think, right? Never be engaging people who could steal your objectives away. That's a good one. So that's awkward. And it looks like some Repentia actually fled because of that. One lost to the explosion, 2 more to the cultist attack. So even if the Repentia hadn't allowed the cultists to do a big combat move onto Objective 2, they actually were going to get murdered anyway. And this actually makes it pretty reliable that the Venom Crawler kills them. And worst case scenario, the Lord Discordant is going to be able to flamer them as well. If that's what it likes to do, to be fair. But that said, we are running out of units on the Chaos side of the table. Looking like we're maybe going to be angling a Demon Prince charge onto the Retributor to try to keep their primary objective down for the Sororitas. Lord Discordant on Helmstalker. I have to imagine is eyeing a charge onto Celestine here, since it can engage her without showing itself to the Retributors. At least the Retributors have a little bit of leeway. They can push into this ruin. Try to cut line of sight across here. And try to kill that guy without having to engage him in the fight phase. That's true, chat. Letters give me they do give me a stroke. I'm bad with letters, for sure. If I ever got pulled over and they had to do that thing where I had to recite the alphabet backwards, it wouldn't matter how drunk I was. I would never be able to do it. There's no way. I don't even know what a letter is, for the most part. I barely know how to read, to be fair.
You have Hospitallers. There's no way that's really gonna happen. So you're just gonna shoot me. We just gotta live with that. There's also Repentia.
So I guess I'm never drunk then, chat, because regardless of how drunk I am, I'm never going to be able to recite the alphabet backwards.
So let's get out here.
So that's the way to get out of DUIs. Just so everyone's on the same
Flamer's
page.
AP1, right?
Just be an idiot. Then they'll never catch you.
Double check it.
Flawless plan.
AP2.
AP2? Okay.
Strength 6.
So it looks like Dude's moving up to
What
deal with the units that can that are on his table half, effectively. He does have to push this possessed unit out at some point, but I think he's Dudes is so cagey about this Retributor squad. The story of this game has kind of been how much damage this Retributor squad can do, because we're really showcasing, essentially how weak the Creations of Bile are to ranged attacks. This is one unit, and it's a powerful range unit, to be fair, but it's a single unit, and Doots has to play so cagey, otherwise they will just ruin his entire day.
Maybe that'll come back and bite me in the ass.
So he has his Demon Prince and Chosen pushing up. They're going to be able to charge and get behind this line of sight blocker, and if the Retributors push up, they're going to be in danger, but unable to attack the Demon Prince. So they could potentially kill another Chosen unit, but not if they... But they're not going to be able to get rid of the Prince himself. And just like the infantry units, the characters do fight on death, so most of these characters are going to be able to trade for Sororitas units at the very worst.
Might have been measuring to the wrong guy. They're sacks, so yeah, we'll just come back a little bit. So if these go here, they're still going to be closer to me, except for these.
Well, if you're charging, you'll probably be.
Yeah. Just want to make sure there's no other shooting that's going to kill them. Which Volk is going to shoot, but she's not going to kill them. So, unless things go horribly here.
I'm no dancer. I'm just really drunk. That's good.
Which is
as long as it's not a
possible,
Reno 911 clip, because I know there's a lot of those. Their filmography was so good, they look legit. I've seen some of those floating around.
Here. Yeah, we'll stay a little bit further.
So the other question is how Doots elects to deal with these Sisters Repentia, and I imagine that that's going to be the purview of the Venom Crawler to try to kill them.
Cheeky smite on you.
Also get the Master Possession up there. Could potentially smite into Celestine to clip out the second Gemini Superior. And I think the Lord Discordant's probably going to shoot into Celestine. So we're going to try as hard as we can to kill her before it comes to the fight phase. So if she resurrects, we'll still be able to knock her out. But I don't think that it's unlikely we actually fully remove her because she is in cover and protected by Armor of Contempt. Falling back our cultist buddies over here. These heroic cultists who withstood the onslaught of the Sisters of Reventia.
Psychic.
I have to say, Doots is solidly in the lead here. In terms of just raw scoring, obviously the secondary objective is still in favor of Adepta Sororitas because of how strong their secondaries are. But with a 12 and an 8 on primary, Doots is looking like this is his game to lose. But I'm having a good time with this game, chat, because I think the very careful positioning around these central line of sight blockers to try to limit the effectiveness of these Retributor squads is really interesting and cool. So I'm happy with this pod final so far.
Actually,
it's been a good one.
I would, because I beat the Gemini's leadership, and I can
all
choose
four,
any character.
All 4 up deny it. It's a 4.
Yeah, you got it. Okay.
So second psychic interrogation for the game denied. Cut to a 1 score on that.
Next, we're going to do Demon Prince.
I think that's how BeefSupreme gets back into this game. If he can continue to keep the Heretic Astartes secondaries low and score his own up, and then hope that he can push for big, larger primary scores in the late game, he's going to be in a pretty good spot. But he has to, at some point, knock Doots down to a 4-point, or start knocking Doots down to a 4-point primary, because Doots is going second, so he does have bottom round 5 scoring, which in this mission should be a pretty easy 12. So we are going to have to make up a lot of room here for BeefSupreme, and I think messing up that objective control on round 2 and allowing Doots to score at 8 on primary is going to come back to haunt him.
Nope. Or actually, do I get it?
Kind of the story of the Invitational Finals in this map as well.
I do. So that barely goes off in a 6.
Gotta keep this combat movement in mind.
I guess I have the Repentia over there. We'll try a 6 up to 9. Nope.
Might for 2.
Celestine still.
Yep.
All right.
And then we'll do Delightful Agonies. 6. I'll go ahead and CP this one. Down to 3. That one goes off. And you did these 2 already, I think.
Yeah.
We're out. So that's it. Okay. Shooting. We'll start with these chosen. We're just going to put bolt guns into these Repentia.
Mm-hmm.
4 shots. Rerolling 1s for Demon Prince. Does rapid fire explode? I always forget this one.
I want to say it's assault once you're in the close combat, but I really don't.
Assault pistol melee, yeah. Just want to be sure. So we're just going with that, and then on 3s. So you got 3 saves.
We're going.
Chosen. Nailed it.
So that was bolt guns from the Chosen. Just
In that
easy
case, we'll go
peasy
with Venom
knocking out
Crawl.
those Rapincha out.
Two
I saw
Celestine.
triple ones. I was a little worried that was into Celestine, but it was just the Rapincha. I have a little heart attack there. Celestine gets killed and forced to resurrection on triple ones. You'd feel bad about that.
So I think your base save.
Pretty GG. I'm gonna slow roll on Celestine.
Two damage.
Bolt gun!
That is some bolt gun eating there, chat, for sure.
One in the fun. Do I want to spend a fun?
So potentially
Good.
can auto pass our hit on Celestine here to make sure she doesn't go down. Looks like she's okay.
Good. And then Disco, Shooter.
So doesn't look like Celestine's gonna be going down here. We do have the Bale Flamer shot. Oh
Big
dang
shots.
though. Max shots the Bale Flamer. So it's up to 9 or 8.
No, 2s.
But rolled a bunch of ones to win. All right, well, fair enough.
That sucks.
You win some, you
One
lose some.
mortal, but 5 saves.
One mortal. Yeah, do it, and then 5. What's that AP?
Same AP. AP2.
AP2, 2 damage.
Yes. One of these. for
Stay
me.
strong, Celestine.
Come on now.
Oh!
There you go.
So that will
There it
kill
is.
her with the mortal wound. Do you see a CP reroll maybe?
One. She reduces damage by 1.
Oh, I forgot.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Everybody
Nice.
forgot about that. I forgot about that too.
Oh,
yeah.
I got so excited there for a
Her
second. Okay. Yeah, you're totally right.
Gemini don't, but Celestine does have
Um,
1 point of damage reduction. All right,
yeah,
fair enough. So Celestine not dead. She's alive on 1. We're really hoping for those
yeah,
2 damage shots
okay.
to go through, but they are. Turns
So
out we're
we'll
only
do
1 damage shots
charges.
the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Tricked us. They tricked us.
We'll do Chosen going in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
So we are going to kill Celestine in the fight phase and force a resurrection on her.
Chosen champ.
We do already have all the criteria for Long War and the secondary scored.
How many
Celestine
can
will
fight
probably
to
not
the
be able to attack these models, so no chance that we lose the center objective here. Assuming we can put 2
Yeah.
Chosen on it to her 1. But she will be able to, if she doesn't roll the 1 to resurrect, she will be able to
Much do I
resurrect,
even care,
heal back at
'cause
Gemini Superior, and then get stuck into
We're
those
gonna get shot either way. I
Chaos
think.
Boys.
Yeah, we'll come this way a little bit. So they're getting shot either way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now Demon Prince in charge.
Mm-hmm.
So using our 2-inch engagement range here to open up a little gap for the Demon Prince to get through. Unfortunately, it looks like we do have to put ourselves in line of sight of the Retributors, which is a little scary.
Cool.
Because they otherwise wouldn't have anything to shoot at.
I guess.
But
we'll
they
do
could move
Chosen
into the
first,
terrain
probably
anyway
the
and-
easiest thing.
Force the trade, which I think is Doots is probably fine with.
We can just say she's dead.
Or you can roll it.
Yeah, it's up to
One
you.
range, yeah.
I won't move into that cover. I'll just stay where I'm at.
Alright. And then $20 as I roll a 1.
Here it is. Yeah, there's the
Oh, she
resurrection.
gets up. Look at that.
So she does come back
She's
outside of
alive.
engagement range. So she'll
So
pop back a
2
little bit.
inches back. You're not moving in.
No 1 rolled today, chat.
So that will
Did
give
it.
me.
It's so
3 for
heartbreaking when that happens.
specimens.
I really don't like that
Didn't
ability,
get
to
it.
be honest, chat.
That'll give me 3 for 1.
It feels like she was Celestine sort of existed before phase caps were really a thing, and I think she would be 3 wound phase capped. I think if well, I guess like coming back to life is kind of her shtick, so it is what it is. But it feels like a phase cap ability
Take it.
because it takes 2 phases to fully kill her. But if you roll that 1, your phase cap essentially turns off and the unit just dies, and that feels real bad, especially because it's a 200-point character that you're putting that 200 points into for the ability to come back to life and get 2 turns of activation out of. And if you don't get that, you just
I'll take some.
want to tear your own hair out. It feels so bad.
Alright, so this is my turn 4.
Yep.
I've lost the game, so I need to play for points to try and get second. Is what we're saying. Yes. You will score at the... So you're going into...
Yeah, it looks like BeefSupreme here. Looking at his projected final score, he's got an 8-point turn finally on the board, but he has to knock his opponent down to zeros, essentially. I actually don't know if it's quite over right now, right? Because Celestine can push up, and she can kill all of the cultists, or at least enough between... I don't know if she gets a flamethrower shot at them, to be fair, but if she elects to forego the Gemini spawn, she can kill enough to potentially steal that objective away. Then we have multi-multi shots into the Chosen. If they kill the Chosen... it's just the 2 characters hanging out in the middle. And we have potentially kind of the ability to trade 1-for-1 with those. I guess the downside here is that there's very little to deal with the possessed units if the Retributors flub. But I guess what we could do is push the Repentia in with all of the buffs to try to knock the Chosen unit out. And that gets us our Death and Zeal as well. And then that lets us save the Retributors for another turn. Because I think you would need the Retributors live the turn that the Possessed commit. Because the Retributors are so good at killing them. But essentially we have to knock down dudes down to 2 turns of 4 scoring. And if Beef can hold out an 8 or a 12 on his final turn, the primary objective score is going to be relatively close. And the secondary objective scores, he should have a pretty good shot at. Defend the Shrine and Leap of Faith are pretty easy maxes, assuming that he's continuing to generate Miracle Dice, and he has 1,000,000 Miracle Dice to spend on it. So I guess it's not quite max for Leap of Faith because it is capped at 12. But if he can knock his opponent off Psychic Interrogation, he's going to give up probably pretty close to max specimens for the spider, probably at least 12. But there is the potential that he doesn't give up Long War this coming turn if he doesn't put anything in the middle of the table. And he can keep his opponent down to maybe an 11 there. So I don't know if I would quite give up hope yet. You do have to get a little lucky and have Doots make some mistakes, but I think there is still a game to be played here. Surprised Old One Eye isn't phase cap for Nids? Yeah, Old One Eye kind of sucks. Dude's trash. If that guy was like a significantly cheaper, he would be good. But unfortunately, an HQ slot that doesn't bring any psychic powers and is kind of a slow idiot is not great. He's fighting for a spot with a second Neurothrope or a Broodlord, and I think both of those are superior picks. He also doesn't bring a Synaptic Imperative, which makes sense because he's not a Synapse creature, but you're eating the slot of a Synapse creature, and that just feels bad.
On the Chosen? Is that
Yep.
what I'm seeing? And they are not offset.
They are not.
Alright. What other... Oh, I get Palatine die. 2. Cavalry rolls are fun. Great thing. Yes, they are. You do not have any your only obsec is them.
Just the cultist. Yep.
Just the cultists.
You don't need no stinking obsec.
Pretty hefty charge over here. And if you really want to. So what, you move 13, so it'd be a 9-inch try?
Melee Turbogon is good too. Yeah, I can see the Turbogon especially. The Turbogon Imperative is so badass too. The big big speed boost.
Cannot advance in charge.
Yeah, additional 2 inches to your movement characteristic. Yeah, that is really strong. There's so many situations where like your opponent gets a little aggro, and you want to dunk them with a turn 1 charge, and then the plus 2 inches there is just like, just so choice. I guess you can also like you could be cheeky with like Leviathan, and you could set up for a turn 2 or a battle round 2 charge if you turn on someone else's Synaptic Imperative a turn early, right? Does that work? I don't know why we're talking about Tyranid mechanics here, but I would just always talk about Tyranids. It's just how I roll. Anytime I have the opportunity to talk about Tyranids, it's fine.
Yep.
Oh no, it is until the start of the turn, so it's not next battle round or next psychic phase. Sad. Just kidding. It doesn't do anything with Hive Nexus. Literally worthless. Sag. So we are going through command phase for BeefSupreme.
Going on this.
Full rerolls onto the Zephyrim. Gonna trade with the Chosen, probably. That's a dear trade, though. I have a sneaking suspicion Doots is trying to engineer a situation at the bottom of the game here, where he potentially loses the cultists.
Okay.
He does have 4 CP, so he has an auto pass in the cultists. So Celestine actually, I think, has to kill all of them, which might be tough without a Gemini Superior with her hanging out. But he wants to engineer a situation where the only unit left on the table really is the possessed unit. And if the possessed star can stick around for long enough, they can push to the middle objective and string to get his 12-point primary. Seems good. It is nice. It is cool to see Doots pilot this army so well. He has lost a lot to the Retributors, but he's been able to trade up just enough that he's in a dominating position. And, I mean, there were a couple of misplays there from Beef that has kept him pretty live, but also, I mean, Beef's been pretty good at denying the psychic interrogations and keeping him low on primaries or on secondaries, excuse me. So it looks like our missionary yeeting out here to do an out-of-phase smite nuke onto the Chosen, try to get rid of him.
Alright, run with the Dogmata. Guess no.
Being accosted by a Xeno Screecher again today. Kat, can you tell me what you think about the Sacrosanct play?
Palatine will use
Pushing
her
the
2
Obsec Sacrosancts to
to
the middle.
run.
They're going to steal that away from the Chosen. Is that exciting? Because the Chosen don't have objective secured, but the Sacrosancts do from the Dogmata. You understand what's going on there, right? You understand all those interactions, of course.
I'm just gonna hold off and let the Reds move first. One. Right, 2 can see through.
Let's see if this one can. Yeah, I think it's just 2 from there.
Yeah. She's just
So
gonna
setting up
scoot
some
that
shots from the
in.
Retributors. So between the Missionary nuke and the Retributor shots,
If you really want to, go ahead.
probably clip most of the Chosen out.
Hospitaler's gonna remember to heal her this
And I
time.
guess Celestine is going to try to kill her.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, her job. The model that I always forget I take. Not important.
They're very forgettable.
Yeah.
Used to be way better.
Repentia will use this 6 to run.
That's true, chat. I'm an emo boy at heart, so I own a lot of black stuff. So having a black cat kind of completes the look, I think, but also hard to see. I also have a black desk and a black microphone, so enjoy trying to pick out the black cat from all that. So it looks like we're kind of all in on these chosen. Repentia pushing forward. And I think we declared the action on Celestine. Did I catch that correctly, chat? I believe I did. I don't know if I like that. I would like to see Celestine try to kill this cultist. If she can get a line of sight to one of the cultists and flavor them, there's a non-zero chance she kills them. Especially if she can convert some mortal wounds on her sword. And I guess we don't have any 6s.
It's a 9.
Are you going to talk into the microphone for a bit? No?
7.
Right. She fell down. She has all of the grace of a rhinoceros, I think. Yeah, everybody pushing forward to these chosen. Dang, all right, calm down. Nurgle man, you have a black cat too? That's surprising. Black, I feel like black would be a Chaos Undivided cat. A Nurgle cat should be green, right? You should have a green cat. That's what spray paint's for, though, I guess.
Right. Bale Flamer's 12 inches.
Yep. No, 18 on the Bale Flamer.
Okay. So I think he's going to stay there. He's pretty safe when it's tucked in there. Back up. Yeah, he can back up. Nothing meaningful. Battle Sisters are going to run.
So I think Beef is recognizing that what he needs to do here is get his 8 and a 12. It looks like he's kind of seeding the
he is going to raise a banner
Doots,
over there,
which may not quite end up mattering. If he knocks Doots to a 4 this turn, and Doots has probably a pretty easy 12 in the bag next turn. Doots would be at 32 plus 4, 36 plus 9. Yeah, so Doots is on track to max his primary anyway. So what BeefSupreme needs to do right here is ensure that he retains control of 3 objectives at the start of Battle Round 5, so he can get a 12-point turn, and then at least he's competitive with Doots in primary objective score. And I think, essentially, in order to do that, he needs to have as much alive in the center as possible. So as long as he can kind of screen for the Obsec Sacrosancts with consecutive rings of models, there is, outside of the cultists, there is literally no objective secured remaining on Doots' side of the table. And he would get that 12-point primary. So Gemini Superior getting placed down now. We do have a 10 in the Miracle Dice pool. I kind of want to see this Gemini Superior get placed here, maybe. And then we push for a big charge into over here. I wonder what that distance would be. Oop, that's not a correct measurement. I guess it would be out of range, probably. I think Celestine would have needed to have moved to make that happen. If he can auto-convert 1/6 in Celestine's swing, I think that would be good, because we only have to kill 8. And she is 6 attacks, and can maybe convert 2 into mortals, so that's 4 dead, so she has to convert the other 4. It's asking a little bit a little much, but who knows.
Going into both or just the
Going
chosen?
into both. Yeah.
Nerigal,
Okay.
would it just be a sick cat? Yeah, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Aw, poor kitty. So Celestine going into the Chosen and the Demon Prince. Looks a little hokey there.
So
I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
is that more than
About that coherency.
Can they? I guess I can't go over. That's 2.
There you go. Yep. But not.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're
Yeah.
not, you need to be in
Oh, I
engagement
need.
with this
Yeah. Celestine is 2 inches.
guy. She would be there, but now you're out of this.
Okay, then I guess that this is fine. Yeah, because everybody will be within. I'll put her over here then.
Okay.
All right. Next I will go with Repentia.
Yep.
They get
ABB
3d6.
chant for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's especially important against these fight on death units because the fight on death does allow a pile in. Did we also flub? I don't know if I guess we kind of missed the shooting phase, but it looks like we flubbed on with the shooting attacks on these guys, which is sad. So basing them prevents them from attacking anything that you don't want them to. But currently, if you don't base any of these models and they get to fight on death, they can kind of, as long as they stay in coherency, they can make a little bit of a push and try to attack units that you didn't expect them to. Because there isn't any targeting restriction on units that were charged, only the units that do charge. Fight on death is a strange mechanic.
Yeah. I got you. I know what you're doing. No reason to just fiddle with it all day.
Yeah. You know what? They're all gonna come over here.
Okay. That's your Gemini.
This is my. Oh,
You got it.
yeah. Everybody's in there. And then I guess we will do. Yeah, we got a dual charge with the Zeph. They are the.
So trying to knock out the demon
Sorry, my
prince.
brain is getting extra fuzzy.
You're good, man.
Used 10.
Over 40k is a lot of strange
Yes.
mechanic. Yeah. Yeah, the rulebook's about 200 pages of strange mechanics for Church Chat.
That charge. You do have.
They could cut it to about 10 pages when they want all the strange mechanics in there.
Yeah, 6 attacks, and they explode. Hitting
Yeah,
2.
6 and 1 talent.
You know what? If you will kill Celestine. You could.
So careful positioning coming in here. Unfortunately, I'm not sure our Word of the Emperor is in range. No, she's not. Which means the Slanesh Chosen will get to fight first if they aren't killed. Indeed, sitting on a delicious 4 command points means that he does have an interrupt available for the Demon Prince.
Attacking, you kill probably 6 of them, which is fine.
I think Beef is sort of taking the engagement that he has, even though it's not a great one, and hoping for the best. But I have a sneaking suspicion this is not going to go well for him. I think there's going to be a lot of dead sisters on this
Does he have anything cast
objective
on
at
him,
the
the
end of
Demon
this turn.
Prince?
No.
Alright, well, I'll go with Repentia first. They seem fun. So 3
Okay.
times 5 is going to be 15.
Alright, Repentia, what do you got? Got a bunch of rerolls is what you have. Dang, that was a terrible attack roll. The conversion's much better,
nice
though. 4
conversion.
explosions. So we're going to net 1 additional. Very nice.
Wounding on 2s because the superior's right there.
Yep.
Rerolling 1s because I kept on my Val. 16.
AP minus 4, 2 damage.
6s. And then I do have to roll this out. So first guy who's wounded dies. Next guy
It's Netflix time, according to the cat.
dies. Next guy dies. So it's 3 so far. 4, and then the last guy dies. All right.
Let me check. When does suffering and sacrifice? Is it when
It's been for
you are Yeah, let me look it up. I think I have to say it before you.
Yeah, that's the sister stratagem
Say your
to
attacks.
force an
Right now.
enemy to target it with attacks.
let's
But I
see.
that would
believe
make
that
more sense
it's
than,
actually
like, if you
open-ended.
tried
You can use it at any time during the fight phase.
Yeah, let me look at- Suffering.
Of course, I don't have bookmarks in this one.
It would be pretty good here. It forces the Chosen to go into Celestine, so they can't kill the Zephyrim. But obviously, you do lose Celestine there, which is sad.
Oh no.
Let's see. Each time an enemy unit is selected to fight. I don't know how that works because I'm not selecting my unit to fight. Just models in my unit have to fight when they die. I don't know if Trevi wants to weigh in on that.
So I think the timing on the stratagem itself is open-ended. It's just in the fight phase. Then the effect triggers when a unit is selected to fight. Yeah, so I think you could use it now, but I guess it wouldn't affect the models fighting on death because they're not being selected.
Let's see. Yeah.
It's a strange stratagem, chat. Definitely a stratagem that
Beefy there.
calls that sort of is emblematic
hear
of
you
the
if
need
you're
for
talking.
templating.
I think his mic died, maybe.
We'll find out. I have the time paused, so that we can
Okay.
chill for a sec. Yeah, it's that stratagem's super weird because the timing on it's super strange, and then
Yeah.
looks like he dropped.
He dropped out of Discord. He's still in the game, though. Might be restarting Discord.
Yeah, so I don't see his cursor. Wonder if he's about to cut. We'll find out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but any of like the selected to fight stuff, or like
Yeah.
fight or shoot, is super weird because there's a lot of situations in which they don't trigger.
Oh, I think I hear you. You there?
I heard something.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
My
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what we figured.
it's bedtime. Did you find suffering sacrifice? I was almost there.
Yeah, so the way it works is you can use the stratagem whenever, but because the chosen unit isn't being selected to fight in the normal fight sequence, it would actually not affect them on the fight on death, just when the unit fights normally. So,
Well, crap. There goes my whole plan. But yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay, and this is gonna be weird. So here's what I'm gonna do.
Yep.
So each one of these fights individually and then is removed. So I'm gonna remove this guy, and then, this guy piles in here. Next, this guy piles here. If that makes sense. Next, this guy piles here. So it's going to be 3, including a champion and
yes,
the Zephyrim, and
selection
then 2 in a
is a specific step
That's how I'm
in
gonna do
the combat phases. It's the same in shooting phase. That abilities that let you attack
the
out of
3,
sequence
including the champion, it's the Zephyrim, is
skip.
14.
So you'd have to be activated in the normal order of the fight phase to be selected to fight.
Rerolling 1 for my Demon Prince.
It is, as far as I know, basically identical to the Overwatch interaction with selected to fight abilities. Definitely another weird mechanic, chat. Yeah, normally it doesn't really come into play. But like, imagine you had like a Master Artisan's effect and a fight on death. Then you're... Did we lose our players again? What's happening right now? I was just reading through the appendix real quick, chat, in case there was an exception. Because each model resolves its fight individually, like if you had a Master Artisan's effect and selected to fight abilities worked like that, you'd basically full reroll the entire unit because they would all get a Master Artisan's activation every time. But because they're not selected to fight, you wouldn't.
Hey,
you wouldn't
you
get
there,
a reroll.
All right, try that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
All right, looks like we're fixing
Do
our.
roll, or
What's that?
just tell me what saves I need.
Okay.
Fixing a
you don't
microphone.
have to
Here.
explain
All right,
it to me.
everything's fixed.
Okay.
I know you're doing it.
So these explode, and then these are going to move on too. So this is all into Zephyrim.
Mm-hmm.
So you got 21 saves, AP3.
21. Yeah, they're dead. They're very dead.
Just got him. Yep. And then there's 8 attacks going in the Rapincha. 2s or 1s. Wow, these guys are angry.
So it looks like instead of Celestine being able to sacrifice here, that is unfortunate because that is a
8 saves
bizarre
and
interaction. So Celestine, it looks like we'll get to activate. The Chosen are gonna clip the Zephyrim. Yeah, Exploding Six is doing mad work. They do get those rerolls from the Demon Prince though, so they should full convert their attacks basically. They are. We're gonna see if the Sisters Repentia die, but that will allow Celestine to put everything into the Demon Prince and try to kill him. Potential that the Demon Prince resurrects when he dies.
No.
All right, looks like the Repentia will survive on 1. All right.
One lives.
One lives.
Good job, Repentia. Proud of you. And we'll see if Celestine can do it on the Demon Prince.
Okay. And then...
Are you going to interrupt?
He is on the
Yeah,
T6.
let me put this on my time.
Oh, but yeah, we could just interrupt the Demon Prince, unfortunately. Yeah, that's fair.
If I do, I can...
Oof. I think a little bit of an awkward
Grab the Repentia, you put obstacles,
fight
sacrifices.
matchup there,
Point
because we
doesn't
do
matter.
have... I mean, it's displaying
You
creations
get
bio,
that
like,
kill,
absolutely
though, because
dominating
you
control of
have
the fight
Miracle
phase.
to save her.
No defense against the shooting phase, but ridiculously powerful in the fight phase, and this is why.
And hopefully I at least get the Gemini, which saves me some trouble there. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and interrupt here.
Okay.
To be fair, not sure that this that interaction changes this too much. I guess that there would still be more Zephyrim alive if the Demon Prince interrupted, if the Chosen killed Celestine and the Demon Prince interrupted the Zephyrim. But I guess you'd keep the Repentia going if that was the game plan. But I don't know if the Zephyrim are enough to kill the Demon Prince by themselves.
That hits and explodes.
It auto wounds, right? So
Only for Golax, so not the claw.
Oh, okay.
So you got 1 save, 2 damage.
Roll it. She's dead.
Better. And then this is Golax and Celestine.
So Claw punches the
Okay,
Repentia
so
to
these
death.
auto wounds,
Ooh.
but I have to roll the wound with these explosions.
What a roll on the hit roll there.
So you got 7.
Oh, boy.
7.
That's your invul, I think.
Involve.
Yeah, AP3.
AP3, and it's 3 damage.
Yeah, 3 each.
3 each. Come on, Celestine. 1, 2. She's gonna die. So she's down to 2, so she can fail 1 more.
Yep.
Oh man, not quite how I wanted this turn to go.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have multi-charged with the Zeph, but we did. I'll CP reroll that.
Miracle the last one.
I don't.
Oh, you're
I only
out.
have 3.
Yeah.
And 1. Alright,
Ah,
she lived.
nailed it. Cool.
So Celestine, string of invulnerable saves, keeps yourself alive from the Demon Prince. All right, Celestine, let's get a bunch of mortal wounds in here. I think we have miracled, right?
Okay.
We don't have good miracle dice in to drop our auto mortal wounds in there, but
6.
go for the best, I guess. She has strength 7 against T6, so we do 1 on 3s. That's pretty good.
Okay, 1.
Okay. 1. So it stays in. You're going to take 2 mortals at the end.
Yep.
And it's going to be your toughness 6.
T6, yep.
So 3s. Miracle die. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Alright, so these are on 5 ups.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 4? Yeah.
4.
I've got... So I'm going to have 6 left, so I'll roll these 2 at a time.
Yeah, maybe they just
So,
do no damage
down
to
to
each other
2.
forever.
Good.
Don't do it.
You would.
Incredible.
I have to.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. 2 big
Oh,
characters
so
smash
she
into
is
each other,
down to
neither of them
2.
die. That's fair.
Yep.
I think that's
nice,
probably
like-
more alive for There was certainly a universe where Celestine dies there for sure. It's the Doom Prince.
All right.
Both models down to
Think that is
two wounds
everything.
remaining, unfortunately for them.
Go over to you.
And we are moving to bottom bound around 4. We do have an Obsac on the center objective, so Dude's not controlling that.
2 on me.
Oh, my camera's locked for some reason. There it goes. Now, only up 3 points for Dudes. Oh, no, we're going to get our 8-4 primary.
Alright.
Yeah, so I think we need to kill those cultists, I think, for BeefSupreme to have a good shot here. Because those possessed basically by themselves, the stuff remaining for Dudes is going to be able to hold down enough objectives to get to max out his primaries. So it shouldn't really make that much of a difference.
Repentia, killing something, and your turn. 3.
Yep. Let me see something. Okay, my Demon Prince. Can fit through? Yeah, I think he does. It's just the collider is weird. Okay.
Yeah, he's on a 60 mil, right?
Yeah, he should be.
Yeah, he should be able to fit through. It looks like he's bigger on one side for some reason.
Yeah, it's the model, I think. Okay.
Ash in chat with the Prime resub. Thank you. You're the best.
I think Senor Discordia is doing a whole lot of nothing this game. That goes there, that goes there, that goes there. What's her leadership? 8. I think we're just gonna blast out of here.
This cat wants to watch Netflix so bad. Oh, she's gone. There go the possessed into the center. There's a turn early for the possessed, I think. Although Doots, I think here is trying to deny the 12-point primary for Beef. So if he gets to charge with the possessed into the Sacrosaunts,
Or 13.
and wipes them, because Doots' score doesn't really matter so much at this point because he's already on track to max his primary. The only way he loses is if he gives up that 12 points and gets nuked on secondaries. Have these players been scoring Raise of Banners? I'm sure they have.
Senor
I guess only one
Disco.
banner has been down. Because Objective 4 got broken early.
Go this way.
Grey Ghost 88, can you get my opinion on a theme for an army?
Roast
Like a color scheme?
Palatine. Does that even do anything for me?
Give your opinion on a color scheme, sure.
Yeah, roast the Hospitaller.
This big possessed unit, absolutely badass in Creations of Bile. Obviously, the fight on death is a really big deal, and the +1 strength gets him to strength 6, which is a big break point against T5 and T3, which is both are important toughness values in the metagame. But also, that Black Rune of Damnation, plus all of the buffs from the Master Possession, makes it super difficult to take down. -1 to wound, 4+ invulnerable save.
Okay, so
It damages you
this
for coming in with
goes
Cursed Earth is
5.
active. And then can potentially Flesh Pact
10.
back its casualties when they take them.
13 is here. 11.4, so I can get the Palatine or the Hospitaller.
Get
Cal
rid of
doesn't
the-
count as a closer model,
Yeah, but she's a character, so she doesn't block.
even if she's closer.
Yeah, you ignore characters with 9 or less. which I think is what I want, because no invulns is not fun. So we just nuke the Palatine.
Yeah.
And
As we talked about before, the Word of the Emperor would be brutal here against the Possessed. But because these are all
Maybe go
characters,
for a
they don't block for
Longbomb.
each other, despite the fact that they are bodyguarded
maybe an
currently.
11 or a 10. All right.
Want to make a list with Rough Riders and Scions.
Okay. Let's do Psychic. I'll
Let
do
me,
Herald. Do an Interrogate.
I guess Psychic Interrogation going off. Looks like it is off.
7.
Do we see a 4 plus a 9? 2 CP left for Adepta Sororitas?
Denied.
Oh, the 6 up denied again! Oh, no.
All right.
That is the failure mode of Psychic Interrogation
Master of
against
Possession is going to do
Sororitas, unlike other 4 plus an I sub-factions, where sometimes you can just you can get away with bleeding them all their CP, and that's almost enough value for the Psychic Interrogation, in addition to a couple victory points. But, so sometimes Sisters just 4 plus, or just 6 plus you all the time.
Okay,
It's
on
sad.
the
But that's going to cut Dudes down to maximum on 6 on Psychic Interrogation. I don't know if that's enough to kill him, but it's getting close.
Delightful Agonies does not matter.
He has to make this charge on the Sacrosancts here. If he fails to charge with the
Let's
Possessed,
do
he
the
gives
heal,
up the 12-point
Pact of
primary,
Flesh.
unless the Lord Discordant gets in on the Retributor over here.
Goes off on an 8.
That could be very bad for him. But back to your question, Grey Ghost, I think like postulating about Astra Militarum list right now is a little bit pointless because they are just around the corner from a brand new codex. But I think if you're looking for cavalry models in Militarum, the Death Corps of Krieg Death Riders are very strong. They're less strong now. They used to be very inexpensive, and now they're a little bit pricier, or I should say a lot pricier. Ooh, looks like Celestine does go down to the
Right.
ranged attacks.
We'll go for small.
but their profile is still pretty good. They're very tanky.
Do
You still need you still need guns, I think, to follow up, but they are good frontline for the guns.
Smite's really
And then you can use mortars and tank company or tank commanders
Smite
to
is off.
backline for them, and then the Scions get in and they're your reach. You can do actions with them, or you can bail them out of Valkyries and shoot people.
For 3.
Pulling
Alright.
the Sacrosancts off of the mid objective. Yeah, I guess that's probably fine. The Demon Prince
shooting
did get cleared,
these
so it's
guys.
open to charge now. And that means that it's an almost infallible charge onto the
Actually, let's start
Sacrosancts.
with the
So you don't even need the Possessed to go in. Yeah, this has been brutal in this last turn.
Shots.
When squats? I think they said it's like end of this year, right? So probably November, December, if I remember
So
correctly.
5 and Immortal.
I'm going to use this 2 to fail.
Oh, Ash is saying like
Okay.
September-ish?
And then I'm just going to take her off.
All right, fair enough.
All right.
So Word of the Emperor Palatine
So,
goes down
Venom
to the
Crawler
Flamethrower.
is just going to
Has been beflamed. And the Crawler can try to knock out as many Retributors as possible. Yeah. Question here is whether Doots wants to charge into all the characters. Things could go poorly for him. If he engages
Venom
Morphin
Crawler
Ball too
shoots
early
6.
and triggers her double fight on his own turn if he doesn't kill her. And she does half damage, so the Possessed only do 1 damage piece.
8 hits.
She could clean a lot of that unit up if he gets unlucky.
6 wounds. APE 2.
And if he loses too much and gives up too much combat movement, then
That's all.
he could lose the middle objective and lose out on his 12-pointer
Right,
next turn, although I'm not sure he
charges.
needs it, to be
Demon
fair.
Prince is going to go for Repentance Superior and Missionary.
Mm-hmm.
So Demon Prince going for the small characters. 5 is a little spicy.
We just barely make it.
Yeah, just make sure, because he has to go around the wall here, right?
He is fly.
No, I
you'd-
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's a charge move,
yeah.
unfortunately.
So I was right up to the edge. I think I probably have to go like this. I think I'm good either way.
Yeah, it's probably
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, good call, Trevi. Thanks. Yeah, we'll stay outside of fall.
Could eat the Dogmata intervention
And
here, but
honestly,
is what it is.
I think that's all I care about because
Late September, early October for LOV.
you're
That's
gonna
cool.
just OPSEC
Those
next turn
transports
and
are
hop on the
sick.
point anyways.
It's interesting how contentious that
So that literally doesn't matter.
the transports
we'll
have been.
Or we'll try this long bomb. It's the Retributor.
Big 10 into the Retributor over here.
Believe in him.
Does he get it? Oh, it's just a
No,
4.
I don't believe in him.
Do we reroll? Is that worth a reroll?
Probably, because I fucking never spend CP in this list. So I'm gonna CP it.
Here it is. Roll a 10. Casual 10. Nah.
No.
That sucked.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So it's just gonna be Demon Prince.
Yeah, so no aggressive play here. Demon Prince just going to be going into these characters. Do we see the Dogmata push up?
I think.
I guess losing OBSEC here would be really brutal, so the Dogmata probably wants to keep herself alive. Because we want to OBSEC something and then tow it into the center to steal the objective.
So, first off,
Probably
Demon
a
Weapon.
Retributor, maybe?
Ooh, I forget. He is lead 10, so we're good. It's the Disco's lead 9, so. So I'll just roll Golax first. So these are to wound. So you got 6. Those are AP3.
On the Repentia? Or...
And the Revenge is superior, yeah.
Alright. She is very dead.
Okay. And that's it. You can swing back with your missionary.
No ABB here, chat.
Yeah.
Always be basing.
3 attacks, hitting on 4s. I
Can the
believe in
Dogmata
you.
pass OBSEC to characters? Having trouble finding out. I don't remember.
Alright, 1.
I'm sure someone in chat will remind me. The answer is
Yeah.
only core units. Very sad.
All right.
Unfortunate.
So that's it. That'll get me specimens for 3. Long war for 3. Mission for 3, and I think that's it.
All right. So dude's up to 76 at the end of this turn. He does have
Oh,
40 from primary
And you are on
already,
8 and
so
2
he should
banners.
max primary. That shouldn't be that big of a deal. BeefSupreme up to 8, so he has 16, 24, 34 currently. Could go up to 37 potentially, and he's down 10 already. So he could cut it to a 7. If he drops banners, which is a little bit difficult. I'm not sure he could drop banners in the center because of the Demon Prince's extended engagement range. But he has 2 banners active, so he should get 4 on banners. Can max his leap and defend for 12s probably. But I don't think that's enough to get through because we're going to score end of turn secondaries for Doots. Will probably push him ahead. New sound alert, ABB. Yeah. Somebody has to clip a good ABB. Maybe if somebody punts a game by
OBSEC's going on
not
Retributors.
ABBing, that'll be the clip.
Full rerolls on the Retributors.
Mm-hmm.
We need a t-shirt, an ABB t-shirt.
That is my buffs. Palatine is dead. I can heroically intervene with the Demon Prince, which is not cool. You have a lot of attacks with that thing. Could Retributor it? Maybe. That's fine.
New objective marker, chat? The new objective marker should have our other new motto. Always be... never be engaging people who will steal your objective markers. What was it? Always never be engaging people who will steal your units that will steal your objective markers.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way for me to take the game, so I think I play just for points. Still. Yeah. Alright.
There you go, chat. Perfect.
I'll try it.
NBEUWWSYO.
But
If anybody asks what it is, too, you can also tell people that it's like, I don't know, something, some impressive, like,
Crusaders
foreign
gonna
word.
run.
Mm-hmm.
It's in an alien language. Retributor pushing out Morven, and the Retributor going to try to kill Lord Discordant. Unfortunately, that Lord Discordant probably just dirts Morven all if she has to engage
Hide the
melee
swords, you can't see
because of
them.
the number of
Yep.
mortal wounds it can do.
I'm gonna use a.
Sounds like IKEA furniture.
Use
Yeah,
the
for
six.
sure.
I don't need it elsewhere. Could do it. Enough. I'm gonna use the 6 to get them hidden.
Okay.
Barrier's gonna be the one on the point. She will advance. She can advance and charge.
Oh yeah.
Down to 1 inch. I have OBSEC on there. Now we just need to kill it. Fall back. Hospital's gonna run. I think that is my army. Shooting phase.
Yeah, let's see what
These
we can do with some
retributors
shooting.
into demon prince.
I'm gonna try to kill the demon prince. If they're
Did you actually have
Shots.
something back here?
What?
Start of the turn.
Where? On this?
Yeah.
It's sticky, right?
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot.
I think it's all not. There's one that it's not your.
I just couldn't remember.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, like objectives are lost.
Sorry, this is. Where's this going?
This is retributors into demon prince.
Okay, I'm gonna 1 CP transhuman him.
Okay, not a bad idea.
It's the Nurgle stratagem. Keep that guy alive. Good thing too, because those threes would have winded normally. Let's get those more involved rerolls that are going. Oh,
Murder
get
on me.
wrecked,
Alright.
dude.
4 ups to range.
2 go through, but
give
that
me
should
2.
clip him.
I think you kill me anyways, right? 'Cause you're
Yeah, I'm
half
gonna
range.
use a 3.
Yeah, you don't even have to. Well, I guess if you want to burn some dice.
I want to just use the dice.
Get those.
Okay, so I will regen him in the face.
Shooting. Yeah, we're gonna do this multi-melta there.
Okay.
Hit on 4s, reroll 1s. Toughness 6, so it'll be 3s.
Yeah, T6.
How many CPs? I got 3 CP. Sure, I'll burn 1 to discard a miracle die to make that a 4 to hit.
Okay.
A little bit low on time here for sisters.
Do not. Just 1.
Not that big of a deal though.
5 up. Goes through.
I guess I'll roll it. I don't have a great miracle die.
Half kills him.
Half range.
Non-zero chance Morven can finish the job.
Yep.
Although,
I
he
think
is
that
at
will do it.
a 2+ save with AOC, which makes him very difficult to punch through. Pascal, thanks for hanging out, man. I think this game was pretty good. Happy to have streamed it.
Let me see. I have 2 CP. I don't think I need. I think Morven Vow will be enough in there. Alright. So, does he regen?
That's a great question. Let's see. He does. With
Alright, I'm gonna
3.
spend a CP to cast Blazing Piety on him at the beginning of charge phase. And do 3 mortals to him.
Yeah.
Very sick wombo combo there.
And then I'll just charge Morven Vow. Will she do enough? Start a that was charge phase. I'm gonna charge both of them in. I'll do Morven Vow first.
Okay. I will Overwatch just because I chip you a little bit if I can. Or 5 wounding on 3s. Just 2. AP 2.
So she takes 1.
And actually, let me check something.
Morven's in. Dogmata is in. Beginning of fight phase, Dogmata is going to cast Psalm of Righteous Smiting on herself. Make sure that thing dies.
Yep.
Vow first. All hits. 1 explodes. It should be 3s. 6.
This is the big swings, right? And a mortal.
Yeah,
too?
big swings. Yeah, so 1 mortal and then.
Oh,
All right, so we're super dead.
see you, Lord Discordant.
Okay.
See if he
I
swings
think I
back,
can
clips
get
these
a
characters out.
character next turn, so I'm gonna do the dumb play and put everything into Morven. See if I can get her because it's badass. All right, so
She is a
I'm already dead, so I
vehicle.
don't care if I fail my
So
demon
the,
weapon. So I'm just gonna start there.
Disco is buffed against
And
her.
here we go.
Oh no! Lord
Oh,
Discordant,
he
you
missed
suck.
more time.
4 1s.
He explodes once though. I'm gonna wound you on 3s. Rerolling. So that's 3 mortals and then 3 saves at your goal. And that goes to 2.
And how many mortals? 3.
3 mortals, yep.
Alright, she has a 4 up against mortals.
Yep.
Come on.
So already eating 2 damage. Get the 4+ here.
So she
Eating 4 damage, and that's
Yeah.
before the secondary swings go, and that's with rolling 3 1s
And
there.
then bladed limbs.
Damage output of this guy is super sick.
1 explodes on 3s. No, strength 6. So yeah, 3s. So that's 3 and an immortal. These are AP 2.
And they're good. That's good. And the mortal is good.
And the mecha tentacles. Explode. 5s. Okay, 2 and immortal. That's your base save.
One more.
Alright, well, we took over.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. You want to play it out, or you want to?
I'll leave it up to you. I think I can score when I need to score.
I'm fine. I mean, you'll kill all of this
If you want to roll it out, you can.
for fun. I'm okay talking it out if you prefer.
Let's just talk it out. Yeah, I think the possess just kill the
It
reps
should
and
do
then
it,
also
yeah.
tower.
This is all dead.
For Doots. We'll get another 2 on banners
give me a
going into the
12
final
or-
turn, so it should
Yeah,
be
I guess
7 on
12.
banners.
Let me try to interrogate, see if I can.
And then Doots will score secondaries. He'll score primaries and secondaries.
went on a
12 on
7.
primary, which will max him.
I'm gonna roll.
Should get his specimens in his
Where's
long
the
war.
lucky one? This one.
Where's
the one
the
that does it?
I think.
Stopped with the psychic interrogations. Or 4 plus it. Oh my god. Wild. 4 plus the psychic interrogation for the
Okay,
rub-ins.
and then I
That's
think
funny.
I get mission, I get specimens, and I get long war. And I think that's final. And then
don't
you
forget
get
banners
2
for
more
the
banners.
end. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I would get wow.
Well, GG guys. That's
Yeah, I
it.
would interact with
Anybody's
you.
any
to
questions
get
for
your
the
lead. I think that's
for
it.
the chat?
That's it.
Let me know in the bottom.
Good game,
Cool.
dude.
Yes, it was enjoyable. Thanks.
Yeah, GG guys.
Yeah.
was a good one.
Getting that flank early. I messed up getting it back, and I think that was game. If I should have done more over here. If I'd killed that squad, I think that's
Yeah, that was huge. Them surviving.
yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's
That-
the name of the game for Creations of Bile is just trying to survive a shooting phase, right, with your unit. Because then as soon as you
Yeah.
force your opponent to deal with you in melee, you're like, yeah, value.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
don't even-
realized as soon as I move those 4 Repentia, I'm like 12 attacks doesn't kill those. Shit. How?
Yeah, that's 3 wounds apiece for a mini
Yeah.
marine body. It looks it's deceiving, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I
they
know,
just
that
like
was a fun
randomly
game.
survive. Right? Like with
We
the
are,
she came in.
yeah, we are both pretty dead. That's kind of what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, congrats on winning everything.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean,
Yeah.
good game.
All right.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thanks for the good game, guys. Have a
Yeah.
good one.
For cheesy.
All right, chats. Looks like that's it. Players have logged off. So we'll call it there. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Late night stream. I think it was a good game. Hope you enjoyed the cat cam for as long as it was up. And I apologize for the technical difficulties. We can go to our camera. Oh, it's still on my lap, unfortunately. There you go. Probably don't want to see that. Thanks. I will be live tomorrow, the normal time, so probably around 2 p.m. U.S. Eastern. Probably just going to be doing some practice games. And I should be live also Friday with the same deal. If you haven't yet, please sign up for the August GT. I think we're at close to 20 now, which is a little low. Hoping for some more people to kick off Season 6, but I don't know. People are kind of low energy right now, so it is what it is. But could grab a couple more so we get more people. That'd be good. More means more prizes. Everyone's eligible to win door prizes, obviously, and then there's obviously prizes for top placers. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Is anybody live to raid? Let's find out. Let's take a looky. Let's see here on the Warhamster Twitch. Hey, we're on the recommended channels for Warhammer Twitch. Geeky Skippy playing Warhammer IRL. That seems good. We'll hang out with them. I'm always up for an IRL stream. Gotta choose the outcome. It was Heretic Astartes today. Creations of Bile is such a badass sub-faction, chat. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy that they're not more widely played. Although they did get a 5-0 last weekend. We talked about it on Tactical Tuesday yesterday, which was good. What did we say that we were streaming? Geeky Skippy. Nice. All right, champ. That is it today, everybody. We'll go hang out with the IRL 40K stream. Thanks, everyone, for watching and hanging out with me. I think it was a good time. We coined some new catchphrases. We hung out with the cat, and it was great. So I'll see you tomorrow.